Hello everyone, welcome back to another Tomato Sauce stream. Today is going to be a bit of a weird one. We are going to be doing a bit more speed stuff because we do have the new speed box which should be releasing in the next couple of days. That would be very exciting. And it is the branded box, and I do quite like the branded stuff. What I didn't realise, right, was just how divisive branded is. I think a certain part of me has always known that there's been a lot of people that don't like branded. But my general perception of it was people don't like branded because it's everywhere, right? Because the deck was very easy to get a hold of all the pieces, especially when it first came out with the structure deck, as well as it's done a lot of really unfun things in the TCG. So specifically, it's done a lot of like, you know, floodgatey stuff, like Puppet Lock was a big thing for a long time. I'm sure everyone remembers that. Turns out people just really just don't like branded in general. So, you know, it is what it is. What I do think is surprising is that more people are upset about branded than about the other decks, right? So for me, I was worried about Drytron. But, like, obviously, after talking to some people, now it's like, well, Drytron's actually fine. It's the Heralds that are the problem, right? In my mind, I was like, oh, you know, it can't just be the Heralds, right? Drytron must be doing some unfun shit in there as well. Actually, the Drytron cards look fine. They're just okay. It's a good engine. It does some cool shit, but like the unfun part of Drytron is the floodgates and the infinite negates, and that stuff isn't really Drytron cards. Those are kind of all Herald cards. So it's interesting. The other one is Traptrix, right? Traptrix again, a very powerful control deck. It's not necessarily like an all-star, right? It's not necessarily going to be like a tier 1 Giga Threat deck, but it's still a trap deck. It's still a control deck. A lot of people don't like that. I think a lot of people didn't like it when Tindangle kind of came out and was a really strong deck. People didn't really like it when Guru and Subterra was a deck. So, like, I don't know, man. These control decks are a bit wild, but still, it's branded that got all the ire. But, like I say, today, we're going to try and just kind of cook. I want to understand the branded deck a little bit more. I want to see what the deck is going to be able to accomplish in Duel Links. I want to understand all the cards. I want to see what kind of combos they can do, what the skill specifically does. Because the skill, the new one, is written in a very strange way. And it's not entirely transparent with what exactly it can do. I feel like it's a skill that you have to do homework on in order to like have it actually explain what it does. Right? It's a very weird one. So we've been doing that. If we have time afterwards, I do want to go through all of the Rush decks of 2025, because obviously, you know, we are still a Rush channel. And I do want to talk about, like, the pros and cons, because it's the end of the year, right? We're literally about to go to 2026. I want to do an end-of-year wrap-up, the decks that I thought did really well, the decks I thought did a bit of a flop, right? And that's what we're going to sort of be going over after that. But, before we get into all of that, let's see who we have in the chat. We have Hikari, who dropped by. So thank you for stopping by, Hikari. We have Ninjetti Ursus. Welcome, welcome. We have Darth Victor. Fun fact, puppies don't say voth, they bark. I don't know what that means. And I'm off again because I need a nap. Well, thanks for stopping by, Victor. We have Sakadetsu in the chat. Hello, everyone. Hope you have a great day. Hope you have a great day, Sakadetsu. I hope you have a great day. We have VN Penguin. Welcome, welcome. UTS. Branded meta will be born in our eyes. I'm curious. I'm really curious because there are people on both sides of the fence literally saying branded is going to be the new tier 1 deck. It is going to be the strongest thing in the game. It's going to overrun absolutely everything. And this isn't just like people in chat, right? Obviously, we had a couple of people last stream that were voicing this opinion, but it's not just them. I've seen posts on Twitter. We've seen posts on like the Reddit. We've seen posts on various different Discord servers of people echoing this sentiment. And there's just as many people, it seems, on the exact opposite side of the fence saying the deck is just not going to be good in Duel Links. What the deck seemingly is going to be able to do is not strong enough. And then you've got, like, the in-betweens, right? There's people like, well, maybe Pure isn't going to be very good. But if you mix it with, I don't know, like Predaplant is the big one they've been saying. Being like, maybe Predaplant is going to be the way to play the deck. And I've seen quite a few people, like, this is quite a common sentiment, is that Predaplant might be the way to play with the new branded cards. But, again, I don't know. I'm still a noob when it comes to this. So we're just going to see how things go. I got to read the Traptrix stuff. The Traptrix stuff is, again, the one thing I haven't really looked into with the Traptrix stuff is the skill. So I'm not sure exactly what the deck can end on, but it's Traptrix, right? Sarah is just incredible. So it's going to probably be, at the very least, a tiered deck. I couldn't tell you which tier, but I would be surprised if it didn't end up in a tier, right? Like, as in a tier, not a tier. Speed stream. Yeah, we do like to dip into speed every now and then. The last time we really dipped into speed would have been when the Despia stuff came out. And I just really didn't like that deck. I really wanted to like it, but just the skill being bam, here's like a +2/a +3, and that's it for the whole game. I was a bit like, eh. As well as the deck was basically first Darklord Turbo, or Tax Dragon Turbo, or a lot of the time both. And I don't know, that wasn't engaging as a strategy to me. I would personally like to see Tax Dragon kind of removed from the game. Like, I like Tax Dragon, like, as an idea. I don't like playing against it. It's not very fun to play against. I don't really think it's even that fun to, like, throw on the board, because a lot of the time, you either put your opponent on, do you have the out? Because if you don't, and you try and combo off, you're just not going to go anywhere, right? It's a bit awkward. But hello, United. Welcome, welcome. Oh, short story, Mamelo became one-card starter because we now have Serra and Trap. We don't have the other link, but Serra, you can basically get any Trap, Hole, and XC spam. I played them in TCG. Hello, Mr. Tomato. Hello, hello. We have Gunk and Suship Shari, still no Suship skill. You are getting some new Suship card, though. That's something, right? You got to take what you can get. You got to take what you can get, right? Because Suships... The Suship have a skill. They, as far as I know, they just use, like, generic XC skills. Because they're that, like, the rank 4 skill, I think is what they were using before. Or was it rank 5? I forget. But I remember it was a deck. It was a real deck for a little bit, at the very least. Neat. Well, Mr. Tomato, are we on Meta TCG branded from 2 years ago? I mean, that's... The question is going to be, though, because this is always a problem that happens when you get decks that exist coming over to Duel Links. It is impossible to replicate a skill unless the skill is doing something that a card we don't have does, right? So it's all well and good to be like, well, this deck was really good in TCG, therefore it must be good in Duel Links. But a lot of the time, that doesn't actually end up being the case. Like, a lot of the times, decks come into Duel Links and they end up being actual decks, or in TCG, they were just kind of a joke. And then the opposite happens. A really strong deck can come over and do nothing, right? So I am curious to see what actually happens. Because, again, there are going to be people far more invested into speed than me, who have probably already cooked with this deck and already kind of have a really good idea of what the end boards are going to look like. The idea of what interruptions you can play through versus what you can't. Because that's a big part of modern Yu-Gi-Oh! And, you know, by extension, speed, is understanding what the meta is. And I suppose, to a lesser extent, understanding what all the different forms of interaction your opponent can have, and then working out how many ways you can play through it, and knowing how many different lines you have access to, that when they're stopped at certain choke points, what can you do beyond that? And then the better decks and the better players tend to be the players that work out the best possible, like, lines that you can have in this kind of situation, right? And this is what I think makes speed so much more difficult to get into than rush. Is speed, you get rewarded so much more for having an in-depth knowledge of every other deck, right? If you understand how every other deck in the format works, which, again, in speed, there are so many more, like so many more, because people will also play off-meta, right? I mean, if you go and take a look at the tier lists right now, like, I mean, we just had a tier list update for speed, which, you know, I can check on the stream. There are so many decks here. Like, this is so many decks. The Rush tier list does not have this many decks on it. At least not in, like, tier 1, 2, and 3. High Potential, I guess you could be like, yeah. If you take High Potential away, maybe it's a similar number. But, like, in Rush, you only have to know how key things work, right? How key interactions work. How very specific cards work. In Speed, it's like, okay, what kind of interruption does Shinobird end on turn 1? What kind of interruption does Chimera have? How do I play through X Floodgate that Y deck is doing, right? There's so much more. There's so much more to, like, take in there. And that's why I'll always say that speed is always, you know, it has a higher skill cap than Rush, but I would say it also has a much lower skill floor, which is like, it sounds weird to say, but like, I think that holds true. Because there are some, like, some awful speed players. I mean, don't get me wrong, there are awful Rush players as well, but I think it's easier to hide being bad at Rush, if that makes sense. All right, let's try and catch up. Let's try and catch up with the chat. Rush review, poor Pyro. Pyro's fine. Don't worry about Pyro. Don't worry about Pyro. Except we don't have Guardian Chimera, which was quite important for that deck. Yes, I mean, we talked about this last stream as well. Guardian Chimera was part of the end board, right? Not really. Guardian Chimera was what you would make with Branded in red during your opponent's turn. So Branded in red was the end board. Chimera was like sort of part of the end board. It was what you would summon during your opponent's turn, right? So it's a weird one, which was quite important for the deck. Yeah, I am a bit worried. I guess, like, for me it's worried. For other people it might be relieved. I'm not sure what the vanilla, as in like pure Branded, ends on. Outside of like Mirror Jade? Like, you get like, what, a Mirror Jade pop? And then like some trap cards? I don't know, man. I'm not really sure what that... Because you'll have the Branded in red. But what is Branded in red going into? Right? Are we going to try and fit a Dark Lord package in and just turn it into first Dark Lord Turbo again? Like, I don't know, man. It's weird. It's weird. True, we have Despia and Mirror Jade, and soon we will get Dragoon. Dragoon is one of those other weird cards where you want to summon Dragoon by probably using Branded Fusion, because I believe we can summon Dragoon off of Branded Fusion. Let me bring up Branded Fusion real quick. We'll just whip it up. So Fusion Summon, no, mentions Fall of Albert, so we can't even summon it with this. So how are we getting Dragoon out becomes the next question. I assume there is a way. I know that you can get it out with Red Eyes Fusion, which you can search using one of the Predaplant monsters. So, like, if you have... I mean, that's why the Predaplant deck can be so good, but we're using that... The current Predaplant branded deck is using that Predaplant Fusion, or the Predaplant monster, to find Branded Fusion, which is how we're doing into the branded side of the deck. So it's a bit weird. We'll try and catch up with chat again, because right now you guys are, like, probably responding to things I'm saying, like, 5 minutes ago. So we'll try and catch up to this. Pyro deck to the big maximum. I mean, that would be awesome. That would be really, really awesome. Branded Despia, Mr. Tomato. The other question is, do we consider Branded Despia? Is that what people are calling pure Branded? Right? Because there's been lots of Branded decks over the years, and Despia is so interlinked with Branded that I think a lot of people consider that as just like, that's just Branded. But yeah, Branded Despia, I think it's an important distinction, right? People are so skeptical after Swordsoul being just tier 3 and Borrowed Savage flopped so hard. Hulati are crazy for this deck. Imagine if we got Redo a free. Just play Jinzo to turn off Trap Tricks. Real Skywings, real. Hello, by the way. Tax Dragon should be halved. It's bullshit. That's what I think as well. Need to nerf him, exactly. Jinzo is a legend card. No, I mean, I see what we did there. Mr. Tomato, people play Branded Fusion in decks because it's really strong card. Yeah, but like, at what point... So Branded Fusion, first off, is a limit 3. Which means if you play this, you can't play other limit 3s. Or at least you'd have to have like a mix and match. Second, if you're playing more than one copy and you open multiple, you now have dead cards in your hand. So that's another kind of no-no. Unless you're playing, you know, something like, let's say Droplet, which can just send it to the graveyard, or anything that requires a discard, right? The other thing is, Branded Fusion is just going to go into a boss, right? So you could use Branded Fusion, go into Lubellion go into Mirror Jade, right? That's fine and dandy, but a lot of decks aren't going to have the room for that. They're not going to have the extra deck space. So I think it's probably going to be, like, very specific decks are going to play Branded Fusion as just, like, a random tech card. But I don't know how many decks are going to have the room, how many decks are going to be able to, because a lot of decks limit, like, special summons from certain places. Now, a lot of the time, when a deck does limit what type of monster you can summon, it says, like, excluding the extra deck. So if that's the case, it doesn't really matter, because you could just summon whatever from the extra deck anyway, right? But I am curious to see what's going to end up actually happening with it, right? I was playing Speed yesterday and found 4 Sword Soul almost in a row. I mean, Sword Soul is, like, kind of fine, right? Like, is Sword Soul that big of an issue? Like, from what? Like it's a tier 3 deck, right? So, like, it's okay. Like, but I'd rather run into, like, a Sword Soul than Shino, Blue Eyes, or Chimera, personally. But maybe that's just me. Maybe that's just me. Hello, Human Portuguese Dub fan, by the way. Hello. Also, I think people don't talk about Zoodiac enough. Zoodiac is a really weird one for me. I really don't know how Zoodiac is going to perform. Just because, in my mind, Zoodiac is like Trident Turbo. Now, obviously, you have things like Tri-Brigade Zoo, right? And like Melfi Zoo. Obviously, we don't really have the rest of the good Melfi stuff at the moment. But I don't think Zoo is going to do much on its own. But it could do stuff as like a side engine in other decks, right? Zodiac is cool, true. I'm interested in Drytron the most. Mirror Jade Pass. I mean, Mirror Jade Pass though, it's just not good enough. It's just a pop. That's it. You need to make Lubellion, Send Albaz, and Hex Sealed and Lubellion confuse anything. I mean, when we say anything, like, what are we actually going for there? Like, that's the next question, right? Like, what target do we want to make? Like, what is the important piece that we're going to be trying to go for, right? Send Albaz and Dark Magician make Lubellion. Lubellion effect make Dragoon. Okay. But then if you're using that means you're not summoning Mirror Jade, right? Let me go through this. Let's get the cards up. So, this card is fusion summoned. You can discard one card. Fusion summon a level 8 or lower fusion monster from your extra deck, except Lubellion, by shuffling fusion materials listed on it into the deck from among your cards on the field in your graveyard, face up banished cards. So we are going to have to get the rest of it out. So let's go through what we said. Send Albaz and Dark Magician to make Lubellion. Okay, so that's easy peasy. Then we have the Dark Magician in the graveyard already. Then we use this and put them both from Albion and Lubellion are Albaz fusions that make other fusions. So let's take a look at Dragoon quick. What is the exact... Well, that's slightly less than helpful. Dragon effect. Okay, so this is where it all falls apart, because it's Red Eyes Black Dragon or one Dragon effect monster, so you can just use the Lubellion itself, I guess. Sword Soul is alright. I feel like people will slide in Red Eyes Fusion to get Dragoon out instead of Mirror Jade. I think that also could work. There was a time... Well, so the big thing is, back when people played Dragoon, like in every single deck, they would play both of the support cards, right? They would play Red Eyes Fusion to summon it, and then they would just play one copy of Dark Magician, one copy of Red Eyes. But the way that worked neatly was that you could go into... God, what's the card called? Predaplant. What was the link monster called? Verte? Verte Anaconda. You go into Verte. Verte just gets you Red Eyes Fusion, and then you just go off. So without having an easy access to something to search it, I don't know. I don't know how good it's going to be, right? It could be good. But in my mind, if it's unsearchable, doesn't matter. So if you have ways to search it, I think it could be really, really strong. But is it going to be strong outside of having a way to search it? And then is there just a really good way that you can just search it in like every deck? I don't know. When I say anything, I meant Dragoon. There we go then. Lubellion, make Dragoon, fuse Albaz and DM. Now you see it. Hey, hello, Corey. Welcome. You can use the Albaz. Can you use the Albaz? Which one? Just Fall of Albaz, yeah? It's just going to be Fall of Albaz. But you can't... Oh, he's a... Why is he a dragon? I mean, I get it, right? He's a guy that becomes a dragon. I never realized Fall of Albaz is a dragon. I never knew he was a dragon. That is so funny. I guess, yeah. I mean, you could tell I'm a very casual Branded fan, can't you? How did I never know he was a dragon? I suppose I don't think it comes up a lot of the time. But either way, that is very funny. They see it, make Verte. Hello, Mr. Branded Intimato. Hello, Null. Welcome. Yeah, we're going to be going through all of this. We're going to be trying to work out exactly what this deck can do, right? That's going to be the plan. Hold up, you never knew Albaz was a dragon. Mr. Tomato, don't watch the Albaz anime. I know he's a guy that becomes a dragon. That is well known, right? I've seen all of Chronicles. I did not realize that the human form of this card was a dragon. That was the big takeaway, right? I guess what else would he be? Like a spellcaster, a warrior? Either way. So yeah, I mean, I guess we'll quickly touch on this. This has just been updated, but again, it's literally all gonna go get completely messed up in the next couple of days anyway. But hello, this tier list comes right before the New Year's box. As such, we're mostly keeping a conservative list without any many changes, barring the speculative high potential section, since the meta will surely be uprooted in just a couple of days. We did, however, remove Dino FTK from the list for obvious reasons. Expect a detailed rundown of the new box in next tier list update. I'd like to thank 2025 Top Player Council roster for another year of TPC management, and would also like to thank you all for looking forward to these updates. Enjoy the rest of your holidays. So this is our current meta, I guess is the way to think of it. I mean, really, we all know the coolest deck on here, right? It's Dinos, right? We all know this. Anyone that disagrees with that, you're just wrong. I'm sorry. Dinos is just the coolest deck. Now, is it the best deck? No, but it's definitely the coolest. B-Trooper is the second coolest. So any B-Trooper fans, you guys are awesome. We love the B-Troopers. I remember when this set first came out, everyone was like, B-Trooper, no, that's not going to be strong. That's going to be bad. No one's going to be good with this. This deck's going to be awful. And then bam, there it is, tier 3. Excellent. We love to see it. We love to see it. I do have a very soft place in my heart for bees, right? For the insects. So I say bees. These are actually beetles. Which is also very confusing because you hear B-Trooper and you're like, oh yeah, bees. No, they're definitely beetles. Definitely beetles. Fuck Misk. The thing is, I don't know. I'm a dinosaur player, so I'm always going to be a Misk apologist. So anything I say, you should always assume that I'm being very, very biased towards this deck. But I feel like if you didn't have Misk, this deck is so crap. Like, the deck would get interrupted anywhere along its combo, have no way to have any sense of follow-up, right? Without Misk, this deck is so useless. And even with Misk, I think the deck becomes, like, playable. But even though you have a card that literally says every card you have... Oh, there we go. We got ads. We got ads. We'll wait for the ads to go away. And we'll just hydrate a little bit. Three, two, one. Welcome back from the ads. So as we were saying, Misk literally has a line of text in it that says your cards are unaffected by cards, right? Your dinosaur monsters are unaffected, right? Which is like the most powerful form of protection you can have. And yet still this is only a tier 3 deck. And even before this deck was like untiered. Right? This is the highest I think Dinos has ever been on the tier list. And it's in tier 3. And that's with a card as powerful as Misk. So I just... Without Misk, this deck is like so pointless. It's so useless. I disagree. No, you can't disagree. That's not how this works. The coolest is Shinobird Mage. No, I'm sorry. I like the idea of Shinobirds, right? I like the idea of a ritual deck, right? I like the art on some of these cards. I think they look pretty cool. The actual game plan, pretty rough. And obviously, when the deck first came out, it was a Mano Iwato Turbo. So that's just not fun. Now, that card's gone now, so it's a little bit better. But the deck is still, like, so gross in what it does. Did you try Dinos with the Princess Adina skill? No. The last time I played Dinos, I was using the Destiny Draw leading to Dragon Master Knight. This is the last time I played Dinos. I was using this. I have not tried the Princess Adina skill. Let's have a look. What does it do? You can only use the skill's first or second effect once per duel. During your main phase, play one mystical elf from outside of your deck. Face down defense positions, battle position can be changed. This is just either something to be popped or like rank 4 material, but the rank 4s we make require dinosaurs? Okay, if you control a mystical elf, draw 1 card. That's good. Excavate the top 2 cards of your deck. Add 1 card to your hand, shuffle the other back into your deck. Okay. So that's good, because being able to put a card back into your deck is actually the really important part of this effect. And it's the same reason the Dragon Master Knight skill is really good. Because the issue you have with this deck is you'll play like 1 arch, but if you draw into your arch, it messes up the whole combo, because you want to summon it off of Misk. So having a way to put Arch back in the deck is really, really useful, because when you use the dinosaur-specific skill, you play 2 Arch and just hope you don't draw into both of them. So being able to put this back in the deck is really, really useful. I'm wondering what we're doing with Mystical Elf. Because isn't it just going to get stuck on the board? Ideally, we want to pop Baby if we're going to pop something. Ritual decks are my fave. So I also like ritual decks. I just don't like the Shinobird ritual deck that much. One more day remaining for Rush Kid player. Hello, Kim friend. Welcome, welcome. It's basically draw 2 with a free body. Yeah, but again, what do we do with the body? That's what I'm curious about. Because again, what we're going to want to, like... I mean, I guess we could make Dweller. But, like, Dolka needs 2 dinosaurs. Lagia needs 2 dinosaurs. We could... oh, it's a normal monster. It's not level 1, though. Because, alright, the basic combo you'll do is you'll go Misk into Arch. Arch is level 1. We can use that to make Linkuriboh. Then, I guess we just link... Oh! Right, yeah, we link it off with Linkuriboh. That is what we do. What do we make out of it, though? We're making this? If you guys link summon G7 Dragons for summon a Blast Blader. At the end of your battle phase, your opponent controls no monsters. What is the benefit of playing this in this deck? We're probably making this, actually. We're making Imduk. I don't know. I really don't know what we're making with this. I don't see the line. Are you a fan of Drytron? I actually hated Drytron in Master Duel. But again, that's when it had all the heralds. So I'm trying to work out what the end... Because again, if we're going first, our end board is going to be... So we can do this on turn 1. We don't really want to leave Linkuriboh. We don't have Gardener. We could go Imduk. But, like, we don't want to leave Imduk on the board. We'd also then have, like, Linkuriboh and an Imduk on the board. So we then want to turn those two into something. There's no reason to go into this. This is a Cyberse, and this is a dragon. This gets us a Oh, it's because this is a dragon? Maybe the line is... We go Linkuriboh. Then we turn one of our guys into Imduk. Then we turn both of them... No, because we'd have to keep the Imduk on the board. We need to get this out, I think. I think the line is, you get out Imduk, you get out Protector, and then you link them both off into Seals. And then just Seals becomes part of the end board. So we're just, like, assuming we're getting an extra summon from somewhere. Which, I mean, it's dinosaurs. We're going to get an extra summon from somewhere, right? That's just how the deck works. Okay. Make IP with Elf. I mean, you could. You could... can you make... Wait, does IP need... It's not here. How do you... How is IP written? colon. So this is 2 non-link monsters. So you could do it. You could make this with Elf. Obviously, it's not in this extra deck here, but you could do that. Okay. I mean, it's a cool idea. So the end board, if you're going first here, is going to be Seals, Lagia, Dolka, and UCT, probably? Or it'll be Seals, UCT, one of these, and then, like, a coat. The old Overtex. Okay, I mean, it's cool. It's cool. I like it. Am I stupid? What does Protector link to? I think it's just because it's a dragon to go into Seals. I think that's literally it. You can just make it with any 2 things. It's a dragon. Okay. Well, now that we've had a little bit of a detour into dinos. I mean, what is, like, the biggest offender here? Like, it's got to be Chimera, right? Like, this has got to be, like, the biggest, like, oh god, not this deck again deck. But then again, we've had a lot of its tools ripped out, right? Like, Snapdragon is now down to 1. It's still annoying as hell, though. This has got to be the most annoying deck in the format, surely. Chimera and Predap can probably play it, right? Most likely. I hate Chimera with a passion. Yeah, I don't like Chimera. I like the idea of Chimera, right? I like that it's like the retrains of Baphomet and Gazelle. I like that it has some really cool stuff it can do with Chimera Fusion. I like that it plays Alpha. There's a lot of really cool stuff in here. But every time you sit down and play against this deck, I'm always like, God, I hate this deck. Which is like such a shame, because it's like, it has a lot of potential to be a really cool deck, and instead it ended up being like super cringe. But it is very free to play friendly, so that's like one benefit to it. Blue Eyes is like, I don't know, fine. I don't really mind Blue Eyes. Maybe I think I'm always the weird one though. Every time I play against Blue Eyes, I'm always like, yeah, this is strong, but like, it never feels like super unbeatable. It has a hand rip for no reason, yeah. Beatrice is the war crime in Chimera. Yeah. I mean, just in general, everything Chimera ends up doing just feels like war crimes. I just don't like it at all. Predator is another weird one. I also quite like Predator. Predator, though, still has the ability to like turn all your stuff off, which is never great feeling, as well as you have the kaiju still. Oh god, what's the kaiju even called? I always forget what it's called. I just call it the kaiju. The kaiju, is the kaiju not played at the moment? I assume it's because it's limit 1. I forget what it's called. Let's find it quick. Predap. Yeah, he's limit 1. Hydra. That's the one, Hydra. But it looks like people are playing Predaplant instead at the moment. Again, Predaplant is a deck I've always had like an interest in, but I've never really like sat down and played it. Like the only version of Predaplants I ever played was basically using Bufalicia and Triantis and just spamming out Ambulance. And that was kind of the deck. Always surrender to them because I just want my 100 wins quickly and they drag those. I mean, that's fair. That's absolutely fair. Hydra, yeah, exactly. I think people were using the new skill with Predaprime. Yeah, that's what it seems to be here. I mean, this is the example deck, right? By X-Ray Eyes. It's going to be interesting to see if the actual best way to play Branded ends up being mixing the similar. Because people are even talking about using the Invasion skill, I think. Whenever I play Predaplant, sometimes I will just lose to time. It's going to happen sometimes. Predaplant is one of the most difficult decks to play. I think that's another reason I don't mind it as much. I don't mind... I like it when the best deck is a big brain deck. Because to me, that means better players are rewarded in a meta like that. Like, it's like Blue Eyes, right? Let's be honest, right? Even if there's some Blue Eyes apologists in the chat, even if there's some Blue Eyes mains, we have to admit this deck is very simple, right? There's not a lot going on in terms of strategic developments when we're playing this deck. It's very straightforward. We pretty much do the same thing every game. So, I don't know, man. I'm not the biggest fan of Blue Eyes just because I don't like it. Again, I like the Blue Eyes deck. I like that it's a meta-relevant deck. Just for me, if a deck is like really easy, I would just like it to be in tier 3 and not tier 1. That's how I look at it. I like there being easy decks. I like there being free-to-play decks like Chimera. I just want those sort of decks to be in tier 3, and I want stuff like Predaplants to be in tier 1. That's just how I look at it. Activate Majesty, shake my hand. Yeah, not the biggest fan. Alright. Let's try and dissect what exactly we're going to be doing with these cards, right? Because this is something that I think is going to require a bit of brain power. So first things first, this is our new skill. Intertwining Memories. We'll go ahead and put this in a new tab for now. So you can use the skill's second effect once per turn, twice per duel. You cannot normal or special summon excluding special summons to the extra deck any monsters except for cards that mention Fallen of Albaz or Fallen of Albaz or Ecclesia, Tri-Brigade, Springans, Swordsaw, or Ice Jade monsters. If your opponent has a card on their field or in their grid. So, alright, first things first. If we're playing this... Right, that's just muscle memory there. If we go... Fallen of Albaz. So, we can summon Golden... Oh, this is a Sword Soul anyway. We can summon you because you're an Ecclesia card. But you also do mention... Like, what are we locked out of summoning? Like, I'm not seeing, like, many Despia cards here. So, can we not normal summon any Despias with the skill? We're just locked out of Despia altogether. Because Aluba... Does Aluba actually mention Albiaz in its card decks? Is the next question. Now, I don't know if I spelt it wrong. Or if... There we go. So, you can't even normal summon Aluba? That is wild. Because Aluba is usually the starter. But I suppose it's a Despia card, right? That is very interesting. So what are our normal summons going to be in this build? Because Kit and Aluba are the best starters. But we can summon Kit, right? Because it's a Springans card. Like, if we get Kit up. Although, actually, I was going to say Kit is going to be impossible to see. What is the wording on Kit? Oh. It is Springans Kit. Okay. But, I mean, it's also lists Fall of Albaz, so we're also fine. Right, so we could summon this for 2 reasons. Normal or special summons, you can add one of your branded spell traps that is banished or in your deck or graveyard to hand. So this is just Aluba again. Because Aluba most of the time just reads put branded fusion in your hand. And this also reads put branded fusion in your hand. Right, what we're going to do is we're going to start like just throwing cards into a deck. I think that's how we're going to start this. Springans Heat. Right, in you go. We're probably playing 3 of this, right? We're probably playing Albaz. I don't know how many Albaz are actually running in this deck. That being said, we'll put 3 in for now, but I don't know if we will keep 3 in. We'll turn Hovers on as well. What about Ecclesia? If you pick choice monsters and you do, you can special summon this card in your hand. If you can only special summon incredibly Ecclesia Adventures, what's do this way? You use effects of it once per turn. During the main phase quick effect, you contribute this card, special summon Sword Soul monster or Fall of Albaz from your hand or deck. During the end phase, a fusion monster sent to go over this turn, add this card from your graveyard to your hand. So this just gets you out Albaz from the deck. Do we even need this? Is this even, like, that important to the deck? Unfortunately, she has to shuffle back one, so it is worse than just... I mean, Aluba and Despia are the villains of the lore. You can even special summon Kit if you use Branded and High Spirits. Are there new cards for Charmers in Japan? I don't... Maybe. I don't know. I'm not a big Charmers fan, so I don't really know. But hello, Starfall. Welcome, welcome. 2 is optimal. Probably just 2. Yes, she's mid. Not must-have. Yeah, reading the effect, I don't think she's going to be worth it. So we're going to be having at least one of you. How many branded and red are we going to play? Well, we can search this out, right? So maybe 1 will be fine, but maybe we'll need more than 1. Titanoclad is like maybe a 1. Nadir's Servant is like such a question mark card for me. I really don't know. Get the attack. You control a fusion monster that list mentions Fall of Albaz material. You could destroy the monster. So is this searchable becomes the next question. Can we search this with the skill? We go back to the skill. So reveal 1 Fall of Albaz or 1 monster that mentions it. Then add a total of 2 cards from among Ecclesia, Tri-Brigade, Springans, Sword Soul, Ice Jade cards, and or Branded High Spirits from your deck to your hand. Then shuffle 1 card. So you can search it with the skill. That makes this seem a little bit better. I don't know how good this is. There are new Charmer cards in OCG announced. It mentions Albaz and is a Sword Soul, yeah. But like, I don't think you'd probably need more than 1. If this even like ends up being in the deck. Ecclesia would be a skill target if you want to activate it. Yes. But it's like, is that important enough? I think this is maybe like come back to later and see if we have room sort of thing. We're probably playing 2 Mirror Jade. Are we playing Albion? Hand or graveyard, you can send a Fall of Albaz or Brand a spell trap from your hand or deck to the graveyard, apply the following effect. If we send it from hand, we get to summon it. If not, we get to put it on the bottom and draw a card. I mean, this is probably worth playing at 1. Mono per of golden could cook. Mono per of golden. Are you saying like 1 of golden? Like golden sock? I don't know what golden is referring to. Let's have a look at golden quick. That's the wrong place. Let's see if it'll go. Or are we talking about Eldritch? Is that how we're calling Eldritch? But hello. Sword Soul. Oh, Sword Soul. Oh, his name is Golden Sword Soul. Right. Okay. There we go. I got there in the end. The issue is I didn't read this card's name. I read Sword Soul and went, yep, that's a Sword Soul card. Gold Sark goes hard. I do think Gold Sark will be really good in here. And the reason why, I don't know how many. We'll put 3 in for now. I don't think we're going to end up with 3. Is because of the new, God, it's the new Tri card, right? The bird. I think it's called Tri. I think it's a Tri card. This one. Yeah, Tri-Brigade Mercuria. So when your opponent activates a monster effect where you control a fusion monster that lists Fallen of Albaz as a material quick effect, you can send this card from your hand or field to the graveyard to negate the effect. And then if this card is banished, which we could do off of Gold Sark, you can add a Fallen of Albaz or 1 monster that mentions it from your deck to your hand, except Mercuria, which is just 2 really good effects. Banish Mercuria to add Kit. Yeah, so this just becomes another starter, right? So basically, if you like open a kit, you have a starter. Open a Gold Sark, you have a starter. The only issue is if we draw the one of Mercuria, that then kind of messes up the plan a little bit. Mono Mercuria? Yeah, I think one copy does make sense. Alright. Let's go for some other obvious ones. Let's search branded. So we could play some of these cards, right? Because the skill limit is... We find it again. You cannot normal or special summon, right? So we can still have cards in the deck that aren't these, but then it makes it really awkward in some specific situations. But theoretically, we could play Tragedy, right? Because all we need to use this effect for is when it's in the graveyard or banished by a card effect. We could fuse it from hand even if we wanted to. So, like, I don't know how good that's going to be is the issue. Hello, E-Hero. Welcome, welcome. If you play Gold Sark, you could also play Tragedy. Yeah, I mean, that's what I'm thinking as well. But I don't know how many Tragedy. Maybe just one? Maybe just the one of would be fine. And then it comes down to, like do we play Despia? Theater of the Branded? I don't know if we have good ways to search this. I mean, I guess it's a branded card, so Tragedy searches it. But, like, if we're only on the one and we're only planning to get it in the graveyard because of Gold Sark, then it's, like, kind of whatever. Tragedy doesn't seem worth it if you can't play Aluba. Potentially. Because Aluba is, like... Aluba's the really good card. I mean, we can play Aluba, we just can't summon it. And if we can't summon it, it's pointless. So it's like... Alright, Branded and High Spirits is probably another card we want to play. Branded Opening as well is another one. So reveal one monster in your hand, send one level 8 fusion monster from your extra deck to the graveyard with the same type that has 2500 attack or defense, and apply this effect. Discard the revealed monster. If you do, add Fawn of Albaz or one monster listed in its card text from your deck to your hand. So that's a -1 to get the search. During the end phase, if a fusion monster is sent to the graveyard this turn, you can add this card from your graveyard to your hand. You can only use Branded High Spirits effect once per turn, and only once that turn. I feel like this is going to be an important card, but I don't like it, right? Branded and High Spirits is crazy and branded. I don't know, like, the line, right? Like, what is the really good part of this? Is sending the monster to graveyard, is that really important? It's probably going to be, like, the Springans guy, right? Like, or something like the Springans guy. God, what's it even called? This thing. It's probably sending either Sprind or a card as an effect like Sprind to the graveyard. Dumps a fusion, so Kit can be special summoned. You do have to go -1 to do it, though. That's the issue, right? Albaz fusions trigger in graveyard. So you can, for example, have Dogmatic Alliance. So which ones leaves the field? So that's not helpful. During the end phase, this card's a graveyard because it was sent there this turn. So this one would be live. You can add your hand or set one branded spell trap from your deck. Being able to do that is actually so, so good. I don't even know if you'd need Sprint, like, at all. Like, does this even matter? Add to your hand a Springans or a Fawn of Albaz. But that's during the end phase, so I think that's completely irrelevant. And special summoning either of them as well also doesn't do anything during our end phase. So maybe Sprint is just bad, like, straight up. High Spirits is better current branded. So you can, for example, have Dogmatic Alliance or set branded spell traps. You can't send Sprint, it's a machine. Ah, okay. Let's have a look at it then. Level 8 fusion monster extra deck, whose graveyard with the same type. So we'd need to have a machine in our hand. And obviously we got beasts and dragons. And a winged beast. And one spellcaster. What we don't have, guys, is a machine. Okay, okay. So then the question becomes... What branded traps do we have? That's the wrong place to search. So target 1 level 8 or higher fusion monster you control. Destroy all monsters your opponent controls with equal to or higher attack than that monster. During the end phase... I don't know if I like that. It's a bit situational. Branded Retribution. When a spell or trap card or monster effect is activated that includes the effect of special summons a monster, return to the extra deck 1 face-up fusion monster you control or 2 fusion monsters in your graveyard that makes your Fall of Albaz material. If you do negate the activation, destroy the... Now, this seems a lot better. Maybe it's just like a one-of. Like, maybe? Do we have any quick play spells as well? Branded Sword. Banish any number of branded spell traps from your graveyard. Special summon that many Ice Blade tokens. You can banish this card from your graveyard and target one of your banished monsters that is a Fall of Albaz mentions it. Add it to your hand. I don't think that's as good. Branded Lost, when we talked about this card last time, is probably a one-of. If a fusion monster is sent to the graveyard this turn, special summon one of your fusion monsters banished in your graveyard during the end phase. Okay, I also don't think that's as useful. Just give me Bestial Lubellion, guys. It will be fine. Just let me have it. Tomorrow I have a YouTube video for someone who did some branded combos. Do you want the link? Sure. You might have to ping it to me on Discord, though. Or ping it somewhere in a Discord server that I'm in. Because we don't have links. The bot will not let you post links in here. But hello Bismuth. Welcome. You can send Brigand. Retribution is good. Yeah, Retribution seems really good. I don't know if I'd play more than one, though. I think we would just search it off of, like... Christ, what's the name? This boy. Albion. There's so many different names here. Discord. Alright, let's check it out. Let's check her out. Alright. Pause that. We'll grab it. We'll bring it over here. Let's have a quick gander. If it ever loads. This was a problem we had last time, actually, where for whatever reason, this browser refuses to load videos, and I don't know why. It was working fine before, and then it just, like, suddenly stopped working. Here we go. Okay. So we are using that Ecclesia. That one we're going into... Is that Moye? The issue is I'm really bad at names. So we get the token. Well... Okay. I don't know what card this is. Use that, summon him, get another token. Go into Chengying. I'm really bad at names. You've probably noticed this already, but... Add Makuria. Branded in red. Bring back Ecclesia. Get out Albaz. Albaz effect. Go into Sprint. Add it back. Fuse into Mirror Jade. Okay. That effect will come off in the end phase. Go into Moye again. Get the token. Retribution can recover Brafu from graveyard. I see. Okay. So this is very similar to the last combo. Go straight back into this again. Then into Albaz. This is exactly the same line. Where are we diverging? Or is this just getting to the same end board with a different start point? It's the same end board, different start point. So this is now, if we have the Albaz in hand already. Summon out Ecclesia. Back into... This seems really good. If you're specifically playing the Sword Soul package, this seems really, really good. Is this Yu-Gi-Oh! Solitaire? I mean, that's what modern Yu-Gi-Oh! Is a lot of the time. I don't know how to tell you this. So this version doesn't play Branded Fusion at all, which is wild to me. That's just normal Sword Soul. Well, it's now slightly different Sword Soul, I guess. Because the issue is, again, we have the new skill. But the new skill, like... is kind of an everything skill, right? Like, you can play this if you're playing Albaz, Ecclesia, Tri-Brigade Spring, and Sword Soul Ice Jade. As long as you have cards that mention Fall of Albaz, which there are, like, so many of them. He added 2 cards at the start of the combo, like using the skill. The lines are really weird. Yeah, but assume is a turn 1. It's not. It's showing what you can do in turn 2 as well. Well, there you go then. Okay, it'd be really helpful if I could read Japanese. I think that would help me a little bit. Not too much, realistically, but... It looks like we're always doing the same... Like, the end board is always the same. We're just having how many different ways we can get to it. So then the question comes, how good is this end board? So this is what? A negate, a pop... What does the other guy do? It's like... I forget what he does. I'm really bad with remembering this sort of thing. He's the one that reduces the attack of monsters. This one. Cheng Ying. So it reduces their attack and defense. If this card would be destroyed, banish one card from your graveyard instead. If this card is banished, except during the damage step, you could banish one card from both your opponent's field and graveyard. I mean, it's kind of just a big asshole. Is the best way to think of Cheng Ying, I think. He's just kind of there. He's annoying to get rid of. There are obviously some ways that will just get rid of him, right? Like if you spin it, right? If you put it to the deck, put it back to the hand. If you send it to the graveyard without destroying it, you get around all of its effects, but like... Showing one setup and then what you can do on their turn. The question is, though, are we playing the Sword Soul stuff in here? Because obviously that's a really good reason to play the Ecclesia, right? But it's like, if we're not playing the Sword Soul stuff, then we probably won't need it. Like, right now, we're probably playing 3 of this, right? That's probably happening. Then it comes out, like, Branded Opening. There's no reason to play this, because we're not using any of the Despia stuff. So there's literally no reason to play this. You'd be playing Sword Soul with Albaz, not a branded deck. Well, that's kind of the thing, right? Whatever ends up being the best, like, build is probably what we'll try and lean into, right? But, like you say, it would be a bit weird to go from one to the other. The other thing is we do have these, right? So these are some Master Duel meta, like, introductions to Branded, right? Which tell you, like, some of the cards you might want to think about. So this is from 2022, right? So this is, you know, around the time when this deck would have been a thing. So I did want to kind of look at this for inspiration as well. I don't know if you can play Branded. You always mix Branded with another archetype. Well, that's the other thing. You can't play with Despia, which is like, you know, if, like, for example, this is the Branded Despia, right? But, you know, Branded Despia is branded, right? But no matter when you look at any of these decks, they're always going to be like, yeah, you should play Aluba. And it's like, well, you can't. Not with this skill. We got Springand's Kit. We got Mercuria in here. Obviously, we can't play this. We could play Ecclesia. What are they saying about Ecclesia in here? A good search for Fallen of Albaz. It can be special summoned if your opponent controls monsters, cards more than you. So it's a very good card for going second. Cost of a free summon, Fallen of Albaz. It also has a decent fusion material for Albion the Branded Dragon with Branded Fusion. So you can add back this card from the graveyard to your hand during the end phase if a fusion monster was sent to your graveyard this turn as next turn follow-up. I think that's pretty good. You gotta put it back in your hand. But outside of that, I really don't know. But the other archetype is Despia. You're not wrong. You're not wrong. That's why it feels weird, right? In my mind, Branded is Despia. Like, it's one deck. So now basically being like, yeah, you gotta play one without the other just feels really weird to me. They're also playing Sword in here. That's interesting. An OTK finisher by summoning big tokens, recover the band. I don't know if this is going to be as relevant in Duel Links. We've got Lubellion, Mirror Jade, Albion, Chimera, my beloved. Masquerade is the other one. I guess we're not playing a Limit 1, right? So Mask is probably coming in. I mean, it's an asshole card, but I mean, you know, when needs must. I mean, what else are we even going to be after? I mean, obviously we can't summon this because we need Despia cards. We're not summoning this because this needs Despia cards. I don't know what we're doing with the rest of this, to be honest. Then they got all these other engines and stuff, and I'm like, oh, you know, we could maybe just put a little Fluffle engine in, just a little Frightfur engine. It'll be fine. Obviously, we can't have the Adventure engine. That's not happening. We don't have Foolish Burial. Allure of Darkness seems a bit hope. Hand Traps is another big thing, but I mean, that's getting into, like, the nitty-gritty, right? Then we got, like, just the rest of the extra deck. Because, like, even in this, they're still playing, like, Dragostapelia. And Dragostapelia is just so good. You could play Branded Despia with the old skill. Yeah. I do wonder if playing with the old skill is going to be... maybe not better, but, like, viable. If it's going to be... like, if the new branded cards just kind of thrown into the old deck is going to be good enough to build the deck. That's what I'm curious about. Masquerade needs a Despia as material. Oh, does it? I just, like, summon one Despia monster. Well, good thing we're running a Despia monster. I don't know. Maybe we don't use the new skill. That seems wild to me, though. Again, the new skill is going to be fine. But, like, right, realistically, right? Let's rewind a little bit, right? We're not playing Tri-Brigade branded, right? That's not happening. We're not playing Springans branded. We're not playing Ice Jade branded, right? All three of those feel a little bit wild to me, right? But I don't know, man. I do not know. So I'm also a little bit curious as to why these cards are in here. Because, like, Tri-Brigade for kit makes sense. In the sense that, you know, there is a Tri-Brigade kit. That being said, it also doesn't make sense. Because the Tri-Brigade card that you would go for, again, which is kit, mentions Fall of Albaz. So it's like, I don't know, man. And, like, Ice Jade. What Ice Jade cards are we supposed to be using in this deck? I don't know, man. There's got to be something you can cook up with it. It's lore stuff. Yeah, but it feels out of place, right? I get that you could be like, oh yeah, it's lore stuff, but I feel like there should be something in mind that they would like you to use. Ice Jade have no synergy. Well, neither does Springans or Tri-Brigade, really. But it just seems really weird that it's just lore. But so, logically, like, Ecclesia is whatever, right? Like, I mean, how many cards are there that are quote-unquote Ecclesia cards? Have we spelled Ecclesia wrong? No, we haven't. Okay. So, like, it's just these two. And this one mentions Fall of Albaz, right? Does this one mention Fall of Albaz? No, this just mentions Dogmatica. So when it says Ecclesia cards, the only thing it's referencing is Dogmatica Ecclesia the Virtuous. That's the only card that is being referenced. Which is wild. So, we're not playing that Ecclesia. There's no reason to. We're not playing Tri-Brigade outside of Mercuria, but again, I mean, Mercuria, does Mercuria mention specifically Fall of Albaz? It does. Yeah, so that's also irrelevant. We're not playing Springans that don't mention Fall of Albaz. We're not playing Ice Jade, which kind of just leaves Sword Soul, right? Wait, does the skill mention Dogmatica? Shouldn't that be mentioned as well? No, it specifically avoids mentioning Dogmatica. It very specifically says Ecclesia instead of Dogmatica, so you can play just Ecclesia and not the rest of the Dogmatica cards. Dogmatica is a villain in the lore. There you go, then. So, is this skill, right? Is this just a Sword Soul skill that's trying to pretend it's not a Sword Soul skill? Is that what we're learning here? Like, when we get into the nitty-gritty. Because, like, if we're not playing any Sword Soul cards, what is this deck doing? Like, right now, look at this deck, right? We have loads of ways to get to basically Branded Fusion. We activate Branded Fusion. Fusion goes into, I mean, Lubellion, who's not actually here yet. Lubel. We go into Lubellion. Lubellion goes into Mirror Jade. And then, like, maybe Dragoon on top? Like, maybe there's a world in which we end on Mirror Jade and Dragoon. And, like, that's it. Like, also, I suppose we could also have Branded Retribution on the board. That's not bad. We can have Branded in red, but, like, what is a Branded in red doing on our opponent's turn? We'd also then have to play Dark Magician. pretty much. Yeah, I don't know, man. I feel like, again, I am not a speed veteran, right? I am not the person to be, you know, getting any kind of conclusions from. That being said, with what I'm looking at, Pure doesn't look great. Extra deck seems super tight with the new skill. The old Sword Soul gives you at least Mirror Jade for free. Well, the old Sword Soul skill. I mean, let's go and... I mean, we have it here, right? Let's go and whip it up. Add 3 Mirror Jade, the Iceblade Dragon, to your extra deck. During the duel, you can't almost push some monsters, except Fall of Albaz. The mention of Fall of Albaz is also monsters. Your opponent has a card in the field in their graveyard. You can almost summon one monster in addition to your normal summon the set. Reveal 1 Incredible Ecclesia the Virtuous, or an Iris Sword Soul from your hand. Then add Incredible Ecclesia or a Sword Soul card from your deck to your hand. So there are only 6 targets to activate the skill, like to reveal. Whereas the other skill, you would have a lot more targets. The other skill also adds 2. Let's get her up again. So we reveal, add a total of 2 cards from your deck to your hand, then shuffle 1 card from your hand into your deck or send it to the graveyard. So both of them are only a +1. One gives you, like, more searches. Like, even this Sword Soul deck, there's not many Sword Soul in here, right? We've got, what, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. 7 Sword Soul monsters. But I suppose Emergence is what you'd search most of the time. It is wild. I don't know, man. Is Brent... So, what does a Sword Soul end board look like at the moment? Like, what is, like, the default Sword Soul end board? I assume you're ending on, like, Qishao, Cheng Ying. I don't know how often we're going into Ding. I don't know if that's part of the actual end board. Emergence is a rotor, and Ecclesia also makes you search any Sword Soul. Yeah. The thing is, I don't really want to play Sword Soul. So maybe what we actually want to do is not play this, and instead play the old branded skill. Maybe that's where we're going. Like the old Despia skill, sorry. Which just feels weird, but... Oh yeah, look at all these cards that we're revealing right here. I guess we'll just have them not shown, that's fine. There we go. Consistently, it's Qishao and a Synchro 10 at least. Just those 2 doesn't seem great. We just don't use the new skill. I mean, that's what we're looking at. But it also feels really weird. Because the other thing is then, what does this deck end on? Like, what does this deck have that the pure deck doesn't have? Like, obviously we have, like, Aluba, right? Aluba's great. We love Aluba. But all of a sudden, our extra deck hasn't changed a lot. Like, if we jump back over here... so what has now changed? We can now play Masquerade. We can play Quart, or Quart. We can play Proskenian. That's all we've done. We've changed how the consistency of the deck works. We've changed some of the main deck build. But we've added these 3. Are these 3 enough? And Dragite? Which one's Dragite? Let me search Dragite. Ah, this guy. The Adamancer. The Adamancipator. This card is so good, man. This card is so good. I mean, having that as well. Like, a Spell Trap Negate. Plus the Qishao. Plus Cheng Ying. Yeah, Cheng Ying is just such an annoying card. Of course, the other issue is that if we do go back to playing the Despia skill, again, a lot of this deck is first Dark Lord Turbo. Like, do we want to just Like, there is a sizable package in this deck of Morning Stars. Just so, when we brand it in red, we can just pop our opponent's entire board with first Dark Lord. Which, like, I don't hate that, but when that's the entire game plan, I think it's really boring. Tomato is on Aluba's side. He is part of the villains. I just want the deck to be fun, fundamentally. Like, I don't mind. I'll probably end up trying both. I'll probably end up trying the Sword Soul stuff. Actually, I need to check how much of the Sword Soul stuff I have. Let me log on to my speed account real quick. I want to just check and see how much realistically I have. I think I only have 2 Aluba at the moment. I don't know if that's going to matter as well. Hello, Tomato. Just came back from last exam before Christmas. Hello, Matasia. Welcome, welcome on in. You've caught us just looking at Despia and Sword Soul and branded cards and trying to work out what the hell we're doing with it. I'm not sure if you want to keep playing the Dark Lord engine in Despia when we get the new box. But then, like, what? Again, right now, this deck is fundamentally Tax Dragon plus Dramaturge, because Dramaturge is just like a really good effect. And then basically branded in red. And that's kind of the whole end board, right? We just have a way to pop our opponent's board. We have a way to negate. And we have the Tax Dragon to tax. And that's kind of just it for the end board. So if we take away the branded in red, we give up the ability to pop our opponent's board in exchange for what, Mirror Jade? I suppose if we get the Dragoon out, the question is how competently can we get Dragoon and Mirror Jade out? Is that something we can actually accomplish? I will just use Branded Journey skill. Which one's Branded Journey? Is that the old... It's not that one. It's not that one. Which is the Branded Journey skill? This one. Okay. So you can only activate this skill second and third effects once per duel. You cannot normal summon any monster except for one of Albaz and light spellcaster monster with 1500 attack. That is kind of wild. That means you can't normal summon Aluba, right? Because Aluba's, what, a dark 17? Or is it 18? I even forget. Reveal one Form of Albaz, one Dragon monster that mentions it, or Dogmatica card in your hand. Shuffle one card from your hand to the deck. Then send a Form of Albaz and one monster that mentions it from your hand or deck to the graveyard. Then you can add Albion or a branded in white. If only your opponent controls a monster, add a branded bond. Is this skill good? This skill doesn't... My first impression of the skill isn't positive. Let's put it that way. If you brand it in red with Ad Libitum, you can summon summon back Mirror Jade, and Mirror Jade is not actually once per turn. Oh, is it soft once per turn? Wait, one moment. We'll get there. There we go. So, but this effect cannot be used again next turn. Oh. That wording is also really weird. So, right, because of the way this is written, right? If I summon out 2 Mirror Jades, and I activate one this turn, but I don't activate the other one, on the following turn, can I activate the second one? Or is that now turned off because the first one used its effect? You can do that. You can't control 2. Oh, you can only control 1 Mirror Jade. Okay. Okay, so that doesn't work. So if... Alright. If I use Mirror Jade, and then it gets flip face down and then flip face up, does it remember that I've done it? Does it remember that I can't use the effect next turn? I'm just... Again, this is sort of irrelevant. I'm just curious. Also, look at that art, man. Oh, overframe res. Don't ask me, does it remember? I mean, I know Yu-Gi-Oh! Rulings are a bit... Are a bit much sometimes. You can use the skill again. Okay. I think you can use it since it was not on the field for a short period of time. Okay. So that means if you can just keep getting rid of Mirror Jade and bringing it back, you can just keep popping cards. I mean, again, you're going to be limited because the number of cards you can send to the graveyard is going to be limited. Unless you have a way to recycle your extra deck monsters from the graveyard back into the deck. Which I suppose you have a couple of ways to do. Very interesting. Alright, so we're summoning Red Eyes Dark Dragoon. Ideally off of Lubellion's effect. But Lubellion is also what we use to summon Mirror Jade, so I assume we can't do both. Unless we use Mirror Jade as our branded and red target. That would probably work. Eight or higher fusion monster extra by magic fusion. Okay, and this needs Fallen of Albaz plus a fusion Synchro Xyz Link. So, alright, here's another question. Can I brand it in red? I think this might have already been answered, actually. You can special summon Aluba or branded. Hello, J Strong, by the way. I didn't see you in there. Welcome, welcome. If you brand it in red with Ad Libitum, you can summon back Mirror Jade, and Mirror Jade is not... Right, can I summon Mirror Jade off of Mirror Jade? This is, again, another really weird question. Can I use branded in red to send Mirror Jade to the graveyard, as well as a Fallen of Albaz, to summon out a second Mirror Jade? Because I know sometimes it gets a bit cloudy with, like, okay, you're trying to summon something that has a line that says you can't summon it. Yeah, okay. You can control one Mirror Jade, but yeah, you can. Okay, so I can get rid of one Mirror Jade to summon out another one if I need to. That is interesting. Card is fusion summoned. So we can, what? Branded fusion, out Lubellion. So, right, everything in the deck tries to get us to branded fusion. That is fundamentally what we're doing. We're using Gold Sark, we're using Springant's Kit, or we're using Branded and High Spirits. Either way, we're getting to branded fusion. We activate branded fusion, we get out Lubellion. Lubellion's effect, if this card is fusion summoned, you can discard one card. Fusion summon a level 8 or lower fusion monster from the extra deck. By shuffling fusion monsters, list it from the deck among cards in the field or graveyard. So we go into this, then we can use its effect to summon out a Dragoon. Then if we have a way to get to branded in red, we could then make Mirror Jade on our opponent's turn. The issue is we need fodder for it. So I guess we could use our Lubellion, because Lubellion's kind of spent at that point, right? So that would probably be fine. We just trade this in for this. And then obviously we can just add Fall of Albaz from... but we won't have a Fall of Albaz in our graveyard anymore, because we shuffled it back in with Lubellion. Have you tried it, chat? I think it might be the Gozen match ruling. Yeah, that's what I was worried about. How are you summoning Dragoon without Dark Magician? So when we activate Branded Fusion, we send 2 monsters from our hand, deck, or field as a fusion of material, right? So we use that to send Dark Magician and Fallen of Albaz. Then we use Lubellion to fuse both of those monsters into Dragoon. But then even if we had a way to get to Branded in red, we then no longer have an Albaz in the graveyard. Which then puts us back to square one. Again, what we're trying to do is we're trying to just come up with an end board that's like Dragoon plus Mirror Jade plus Branded Retribution plus something else, ideally. We're just trying to make an end board, right? That's what we're currently just theory crafting. Too bad Lubellion shuffles, yeah. That is the issue. Reshuffle from Banish as well. You can also send Dark Hex Seal Fusion. Does that change anything, though? Like, sending Dark Hex hasn't fixed any of the problems, right? Outside of assuming it works, you don't have to run the vanilla. Why? What is Hex sealed? There we go. Ah, the hyphen had a space, I see. So the benefit is you don't have to play a Dark Magician. Assuming that works. I don't see why it wouldn't. Oh, no, the reason why you wouldn't want to do that is because you lose Dragoon's pop, right? Which is... you can use this effect a number of times per turn up to the number of normal monsters used as fusion material. So if you want the pop, you need to keep the Dark Magician. Which I guess we'll keep the Dark Magician for now. And then we'll go... We might come back to that. I don't know if we need Titaniclad, but we might need it just because it's another card that mentions Fall of Albaz at a 2500 attack, and that might be relevant. But then, in that case, we'd probably just take an Albion. The only reason why would be if we were to send 2 of them to the graveyard in the same turn, and we wouldn't want to just have Albion, right? So we could send Albion and Titaniclad. But even then, I think space is going to be so tight that it might not matter. Alright, let's go back to the skill. In fact, can we add the skill? What is the skill even called? We'll get rid of that for now. Intertwining Memories. If I can add that in. Okay, that means I can look at this whenever I want to reference the skill. So reveal a Fall of Albaz or a monster that mentions it. So right now that is you. It's anything. Reveal anything. Not you, ironically. But I still don't know if we're keeping Despian Tragedy in. But he's in here just like as a placeholder at the moment. Nobody cares about the pop. It's mainly there to negate. Oh, yeah, but if you're going second, it could also be just nice to have the pop, right? I'm trying to like cover all the bases. Again, what it comes down to is it better to just make sure that you never draw a Dark Magician into your hand? Or is it better... Because does that even matter? Because even if you draw into the Dark Magician, you can just use the skill and get rid of it, right? Shuffle 1 card from your hand into your deck or send it to the graveyard. So you can just pop it in the bin or put it back in the deck, right? So it's not even the end of the world if you draw it out. But hello, Shui. We have an exclamation mark Shui in the chat. Titaniclad is really the only good once we get Quem. Which one's Quem? Alright. Quem. Hello. Alright, Quem looks pretty cool. This card is always treated as a Dogmatica and Despia card. If this card is normal or special summoned, you can send 1 Fall of Albaz or 1 card that mentions it from your deck to the graveyard. If a card leaves the extra deck except during the damage step, you can target 1 Fall of Albaz or 1 monster that mentions it in your graveyard. Except Quem, special summon it. You can only use the effective guided Quem. That's pretty good. And it's a tuner. Okay. I'm intrigued. Obviously, it doesn't help us right now. I think the only like we said, the only reason to have Titaniclad in here is going to be if we want to send 2 cards to the graveyard, and Albions, we don't just want to send 2 Albion, right? That's the only reason. Because, like, this is just going to add to our hand, or special summon a Fall of Albaz, and that's literally it. That's all it's going to do. So in order to get Dragoon, you would need 2 fuses. Yeah? Well, you know, you go Branded Fusion, and then that gets out Lubellion, and then Lubellion's effect summons Dragoon. Like, that's not that bad. Like, you say it like it's like this impossible task. It doesn't seem that bad to me. The issue is, once we've done that, I then want to also get out a Mirror Jade. I don't know how we're doing that. Is there a world? Just play the Sword Soul skill for 3 extra Mirror Jade so we can fit our other fusion monsters? The thing is, what do we need in terms of other fusion monsters, right? We can't play... If we're using this skill, Intertwining Memories, we already can't play the Despia stuff. So we'd only be playing this anyway, and then maybe the Sword Soul stuff. Like in this video, right? I don't know if he has, like, any lists, or if it's just combos. Looks like it's just combos. Now this is cool, having a dual sim. But it looks like the end boards are always just, you know, Sword Soul end boards. Which is fine, right? It's a Sword Soul deck. Like, that's what it's meant to end on. But there's so many ways to go into it as well. It's kind of nuts. Not this new Sword Soul skill, the current one. I think the new Sword Soul skill is fine, right? Because, again, it adds the 3 Mirror Jade. But what I'm trying to say is the current Sword Soul skill better or worse than this for Sword Soul? That's the question I'm posing, right? Because, like, if... The question really comes down to... If we go to look at Sword Soul, what restrictions does this have? Beginning of the duel, add 3 Mirror Jade. You can't summon monsters. Fall of Albaz, Sword Soul monsters. Got the Field of the Graveyard. Normal summon 1. Blah, blah, blah. I mean, both skills seem fine. None of them, like, lock you into doing anything, like, big. Who knows? Got to wait and let people cook. We have to wait and see. Yeah. I think it'd be really boring if this ends up being the better skill. I mean, fundamentally, the big difference is you wouldn't play Iris, right? I think you would just take Iris out and then slap in a couple of the new cards. Like, you play Mercuria, right? Right, let me boot up Duel Links. So that's what we started doing earlier. I want to just see which cards we've got, which ones we don't at the moment. Goon plus Mirror Jade, you would need a High Spirits start. Right, let's get this up. I just want to go through and check out what cards I have, what cards we don't have for Sword Soul and the branded stuff at the moment. We'll be using this as a placeholder, I think. Alright. What are we missing, Sword Soul? Is Sword Soul one word? That's the next question. It is. Alright, we have 2 Chengying. We obviously have all the Chi Xiao we'd ever need. Ad break. Welcome to the ad break. Can't do it because it locks. Let's check. Normal summon 1 monster. Cards that mention. Hello, welcome back from the ads. Also, monsters your opponent has gone the field. Where does this say you can't use Branded Fusion? Branded Fusion locks into fusions. Okay, so the logic is you can't use... Is Branded Fusion for the rest of the turn or for the turn? The turn. Yeah. So you literally can't use Branded Fusion with Sword Soul full stop. Card itself says the entire turn. Okay, there we go. Alright. Well, even if we don't use Branded Fusion, we still might use the new stuff, right? But yeah, we got 2 Chengying. We got 3 Iris at the moment. We've got, like, all the rest of the main deck stuff. We've only got 2 Incredible Ecclesia. So we're probably going to want to grab a third one of that. But I suppose it depends if we end up playing this version of the deck. Do we have all the Adamancipator stuff? That's the other thing. Alright, we do have Dragite, so that's fine. So then the other question is going to be, what else are we missing? Albaz-wise, we've got 2 Albion, 2 other Albion. I mean, that doesn't matter. We've got all of you. We've got 2 Titaniclad, which probably doesn't matter too much anyway. I think we have most everything else we're going to need. Check our Despia stuff as well. We've only got 2 copies of Dramaturge. We've only got 2 copies of Aluba. That, depending on how we build this deck, this might mess us up. So it's going to be this and Ecclesia. They're the 2 big ones. Can you link the Sword Soul video you watched? I can link it, yeah. Well, I assume it won't. The bot won't stop me. What? Obviously, this was linked by Bismuth originally, so, you know. Opening is 3 copies of Alubar. I mean, you're not wrong. Okay. If we were to play this version of the deck. Right, first things first. How do we get Branded and Bred? Is there a way to get this card into our hand? The skill doesn't do it, right? One monster add a total of 2 cards. So they are all cards. Unfortunately, Branded in Red is not an Ecclesia, Tri-Brigade, Springand, Sword Sword, or Ice Jade card. So that doesn't work. And it only searches monsters that mention it. So is there a way to search Branded in Red? The only way would be like Tragedy, right? Does that even work? No, that's only monsters. The fusion sets it during the end phase. Oh, yes! Albion! Albion gets it. Because it's from the deck. Okay. Okay, so getting Branded and Red, easy peasy. Getting out Dragoon, pretty easy. All we need now is to have an Albaz in rotation. Like an extra Albaz. This is becoming a bit much. Fusion monster list specific of your hands. Got to be set. You can add 1 rare spirituals. This is your hand. Place 1 of your hand on the deck. Okay, that's fine for that. This card's banished. You can add 1 form of Albaz or a monster that mentions it, which most of the time is going to be Kit. This is a good search as well, but obviously we only want the 1. Obviously, this is also a bit weird as well, because if our monsters get popped, this card kind of does nothing. Oh, there goes the music. Let's fix that. High Spirits, send Albion for end phase, set it. Branded and High Spirits for extra Albaz. Branded and High Spirits. But we'd have to get this... But this is a -1, which I suppose isn't the end of the world because of how we're playing it. Okay, what are our primary searches going to be? We're always grabbing 2 cards. One of them is always going to be a way to get us to Branded Fusion, right? So one of them, for example, could be Springand's Kit, right? And then the other card could just be the Albaz itself. Or it could be Branded and High Spirits, but Branded and High Spirits doesn't matter because we're already going to... Okay, so how many cards do we have that we can reveal? Reveal Fawn of Albaz one monster mentions it. So we have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 monsters. We're probably just not playing Despy and Tragedy, right? I'm really not seeing many reasons to play it outside of getting lucky with a Gold Sock. So we have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 ways to trigger the skill. That might not even be enough. We might need more than 8. I got the line already, Tomato. Yeah, I mean, if you want to chuck it onto either the Sim or Dueling Book, we can definitely take a look at it. Because there is actually one other combo line I do have. I don't know if it's like this was from Quantum server. This was made by Dark-Hue, which I don't know who everyone is, but I wanted to like take a look at this because this is like the Predaplant stuff. I just wanted to see like what this line looked like. Oh, we're gonna mute that though. I do not want that. Okay, so using the skill, we reveal... I don't know why we've got 2 of these in hand. I don't think it matters too much. Shuffle. Summon out. Sarah. Once you can destroy that monster. This card in battle. Set the field to the graveyard. By an effect, you can add a Predap card from your deck to your hand, except that. Okay. Activate Fusion, which sends it to the graveyard. So I guess it was sent to the graveyard because of an effect. Summon out Ambulance. Ambulance effect. And then chain the effect of Sara. We get Predaplanet, Predaplanning. Activate the effect. Summon out Cobra. Cobra effect grabs Branded Fusion. Activate Branded Fusion. We're sending Star Sailor Romarin. So quick effect, you can target one face-up monster you control and one other plant monster you control. So this is only going to be good in the Predaplant version. If you do, next time it's going to be targeted from destroyed. Per card effect, turn it's not destroyed. If this card is sent to the graveyard by a card effect, you can send one level 5 or lower plant monster from your deck or extra deck to the graveyard. You can only use each effect of it once per turn. Okay. We send the Albaz as well. Summon out the Albion. Use Albion effect. Use the effect, chain the effect of Romarin. We're sending Biblisp. This card sent to the graveyard. You can add Predaplant monster from your deck to your hand. And then we're fusing them into Lubellion. Okay. Lubellion effect. Biblisp effect. We're getting Bufalicia. But okay, we're going places now. And then we're summoning Dragostapelia. So we're using Lubellion to get out Dragostapelia. Probably Kit in High Spirits, I would assume. You add more Albion, the Shrouded Dragon, if you want. That would work. Oh yeah, we're getting this card from an event next month, yeah. So we've got an out Dragostapelia. This is already looking like pretty good, right? Then we're going to scale, activate the effect. We're going to fuse those two together. And go into Starving Venom Predapower Fusion Dragon. This is made using a Dark Fusion and a Fusion. This card was treated as a Predaplant card once per turn. When a card or effect is activated, quick effect, you contribute one monster on either field with a Predaplant counter on it. And if you do, negate the activation. If this Fusion Summon card you control is sent to the graveyard of an opponent's card effect, you can target one dark monster in your graveyard, summon it, you can use the effect of it. Okay. Very, very good boss monster. Then what we set Predaplanning. Then we pass the turn. That then triggers Albion's effect, which gets us a trap. That gets us Retribution. Okay. Not the most insane board, if we're being... Like, Predaplanning, obviously really good. Brand of Retribution's good. These two together is obviously really, really good. Obviously, there's no like, Mirror Jade or anything going on here. I'm wondering how this is... Or how different this is to just the normal Predaplant end board. But I don't really know, if we're being completely honest. I don't play Predaplant enough. Alright. So, Lost. Do we have a way to search Lost? That's the other question. You get more resources because of Branded Fusion. Okay, so you end up with just like the extra Albion, I guess? Kit. Branded spells trap that's banished, or in your deck or graveyard to your hand. Okay, but Kit is a hard once, is the only issue. So if we have to go Kit to get Fusion, that means we can't get Lost, right? If you already have Fusion, you can search Lost. Is there any other way to search Lost? Is the next question. This only searches monsters. I'm a bit worried there isn't. Because right now, the issue is, Kit is like everything. Like, what do we do if Kit gets like... I don't know. Let's go out on a limb. Kit has just been like Veiled. Or Impermed. It's like, now what do we do? But we kind of have to send Kit to the bin. Which means it might also be mandatory that we're playing Droplet. But then we're probably playing Droplet anyway. Realistically, I don't see a world in which we're not playing Droplet regardless. You draw the out. Just draw the out. Albion, but that's not very useful. Exactly. don't think so, except the Luba. Just don't get Veiled. I mean, I think we're playing Droplet either way, right? I mean, Droplet is just so good in this meta in general. The issues I'm seeing currently are we don't have a good way to search a lot of the stuff that we need to search. A lot of everything we're trying to do is entirely off the back of kit. As well as we don't have enough names, I don't think, that mention Fallen of Albaz to mean the skill is going to be live consistently. Probably play Book. But isn't Book limit 3 at the moment? Yeah, we can play Book of Moon, but we can't play Book of Eclipse. There's some funny looking Rush Duels, Rush Broy. Hello, Pro Manicus. Welcome on in. I mean, we're doing some speed stuff today, because we've got the new speed stuff coming out. And obviously, Droplet is unsearchable. Or at least, you know, in this deck it's going to be unsearchable. I mean, even if we have all of this, even if we get everything set up exactly how we want it, what are we actually ending on? We're ending on Dragoon Negate. Which is just a card or effect is activated. So we get just an Omni, straight up Omni. Like the best kind of Omni. We get Branded Retribution, which is almost an Omni. This is as close to an Omni as makes no difference. The only thing it doesn't stop is a summon, specifically. Like a normal summon, I guess, or an inherent summon. We get a pop. Well, it's better than a pop, actually. It's a banish. And then maybe, if we're really lucky, we also have Branded and Red out. And then we can get another Mirror Jade out and get another banish. Branded Lost is so good. Because Branded Lost will also fix a lot of our other issues. It gets us the other Albaz that we need to make the Mirror Jade as well as the Dragoon. But we don't have a way to search Lost outside of Kit. And we're most of the time going to be using Kit to search Fusion. Unless we get lucky and just get a Sark. Because if we just get a Sark, we can send Mercuria. Then the question is, how many Sark are we running? Because 3 Sark, I don't hate running 3 Sark. But we only really have one good target for Sark, is the issue. Oh, right, I forgot. Brafu is going to be limit 3. What about Final Bringer? What, Final Bringer of the End Times? Final Bring. I mean, it's a good card. But, I mean, we're not really talking about Engine at the moment. But, I mean, this is worth talking about, because this will also get our cards off the board. But, again, we still have... Non-Engine is going to be another weird whole other question. If you're Shinobirds, you automatically open Droplet and Eclipse. I mean, that's true, but that's a skill unique to Shinobird players. That's the issue there. There is no way you are ending on Retribution plus Goon unless Branded and Red is already in your hand. What do you mean? We just have to get Albion in the graveyard, right? Easy peasy. I mean, you're not wrong. How are we getting Albion into the graveyard? We can get Albion into the graveyard with Mirror Jade, but then if we're doing that, then we're going to be doing that during our... It creates this whole other dynamic problem. We can activate Branded Fusion, and then go into Albion. Then Albion could summon Lubellion, but that's already a tough ask. I mean, if we use the skill, we can grab Springans Kit, and we can grab an Albaz. Like, we could just grab these two. Kit gets us to Branded Fusion, so we don't have to worry about that. We do lose a card, but we're basically exchanging a card in our hand for it. So we have, what, 5 cards total. We go Kit, Kit turns one of the cards in our hand into a Branded Fusion. Activate Branded Fusion. So that's now 2 cards gone from our hand with 3 cards left in hand. We then go into, let's say, Albion the Branded Dragon. But then that creates a whole other problem. So there's no way we can do that, because we have to get... Yeah, we have to send the Dark Magician. There's no other good way to get Albion into the graveyard, right? Hey, Toty, welcome, welcome. You can't get Lost consistently until we get Bestial Lubellion. Yeah, that's what I'm worried about. A reason you send Lubellion is tribute Albion to set Lost. The reason you send Lubellion to tribute Albion to set Lost. Getting Albion in grave is hard without Lubellion, as Albion and Branded and Red banishes. Yeah. It's tricky. It's tricky. If you want Goon plus Mirror Jade, you need to start High Spirits, send Albion, get second Albaz. Yeah, it's tricky. It's super tricky to get everything we want. Obviously, I don't think we're supposed to get everything we want. I think that's fundamentally what it is. You might end up with no cards in hand if you want to use Dragoon and Lubellion. I mean, if we make the ideal end board, we might not need a hand, but obviously, ideally, you want to have follow-up. Isn't there a fusion substitute for light? That's a light for Branded Fusion, so you don't have to play DM. So there is one for Dark Hexiled Fusion, which we were talking about earlier. So we could just use that. But if we use the actual Dark Magician, we can get the pop on Red Eyes Dark Dragoon for going second. So that's the logic, right? How much do we value the pop? Because the other thing is, we talked about this as well. If we do draw out the Dark Magician, we can just put it back in our deck or put it into the graveyard with the skill. So, like, we can just get rid of it. So it's not the end of the world. As long as we don't have more than one, like, Garnet, it should be fine, because we can just get rid of the Garnet. I would wait for Pure Branded until Lubellion comes. Which Lubellion, though? Because, yeah, we got this Lubellion. He's right here. He's just vibing. I assume you mean Bestial Lubellion, though. Because Bestial Lubellion, again, a lot of the new cards just fix everything that we're trying to do, right? Make Lubellion, go discard second Albaz. Goon. End phase, High Spirits, goes back to hand. Albion activates, send Branded and Red. Opponent standby, bring back Albaz, use Albaz plus Lubellion for Mirror Jade. Right, I'm gonna try and dissect what's been written here. Make Lubellion. So I assume we're using Branded Fusion to make Lubellion. Discard a card, so that's the second Albaz. So, right, we use the skill, get Kit and Albaz to hand. Then we can go Kit, get Branded Fusion, activate Branded Fusion, make Lubellion. Lubellion effect, discard the other Albaz. Make the Dragoon. That's so far this works completely fine. End phase, High Spirits goes back to hand. Back to hand. So we had to use Branded and High Spirits at some point. Right. Activate. Okay, this is like the third part of the message. High Spirits, send Albion, get second Albaz. But yeah, we have to just open High Spirits in that case. Which isn't... Because we can search the High Spirits. So as long as our hand is some combination of Gold Sark, Branded and High Spirits, Fallen of Albaz, Springans Kit, or Branded Fusion, we're fine, right? Because we can just search the bits we're missing. Play Light Hexiled Fusion, but I don't know what's the difference in making Albion instead. So the main reason you want Albion is because you want him in the graveyard. Because if you get Albion into the graveyard, you can also get Branded Retribution as like part of your turn 1 end board. That's the logic. Keep the pop, honestly, it's non-targeting. Again, it's primarily for going second, right? It just comes down to, like, does it make a huge difference? One less discard. A Bestial Lubellion is needed for pure branded. It just feels weird without him. Yeah, I mean, you're not wrong. The skill gets you high spirits. Yeah, but what I'm trying to say is, right? High spirits is great, and we do want to have it. But also, we are going to need to, for example... Actually, does it matter? What's in your hand? Send one level 8 fusion monster from your extra deck to the graveyard. So we can always just grab this. The issue is... we have to discard the monster. So we're always going -1 when we do this. Ah, yeah, this is the tricky. Because, right, we have 4 cards in hand at the start of the duel. We use the skill, we got to 5 cards. When we use Branded in High Spirits, we go down a card. So we're just -1 immediately. When we use Lubellion, we also go down a card because we have to discard a card. I mean, does that matter though? Because we're going to use the discarded card as fusion material. Maybe it just doesn't matter. So if we use the skill, reveal one of our cards, grab Branded in High Spirits, and grab Kit, then we can use Branded in High Spirits to grab Albaz. Then use Kit to get us to Fusion. Fusion gets us the second Albaz. Now we've got everything in rotation, right? We're just down a lot of cards in hand. You make Albion on field. How do you put it in the graveyard? Well, because Albion's effect itself doesn't put it in the graveyard, does it? Because it banishes. I mean, you could just use Albion to make stuff, right? That's not... it's not crazy difficult, right? You could, like, go Albion into Lubellion into Mirrorjade, right? But in the way that we're doing it here, we're using Branded in High Spirits, right? Branded in High Spirits is how we're getting Albion into the graveyard. Not gonna lie, no, Aluba does not look like the way. Aluba is the only way to retain some amount of advantage. Yeah, that is the primary issue. I feel like the way that we're theory crafting this at the moment is we are going so ham into making an end board, and then if our end board gets broken, the game is over. That is just it. Game is done. Go next. Which is not ideal. If we can get like Titaniclad into the graveyard as well, then we'd maybe have a little bit of follow-up. But like I just don't think it's happening. It's just not realistic. Because the only way we have to get them in the graveyard again is Branded in High Spirits. Mirrorjade gives follow-up. I mean, does it really? I mean, it's a good card to have as part of the end board, but like, what does Mirrorjade do? Right, we pop, and then when he goes, he takes the whole board with him. But then, like, we still have nothing going into our next turn. High Spirits recycles itself? That is a good shout. That is a good shout. Having High Spirit recycle itself is really, really good. The only issue is we can't use Branded in High Spirits to trigger the skill. I mean, we can use it because it's we can add a Fawn of Albad or a monster that lists it, so that will then get us there. So as long as we have Branded in High Spirits, we always have the skill online. The issue then is we add 2 and get rid of 1. So we'd have, as our follow-up, we would have 1 monster that we want, basically anything in our deck, and then 1 other card, which we get off the skill. And then it's like, what can we do with a 2-card combo? I mean, I guess we just go Branded Fusion again. And then we just go again, right? So I guess that works. Mirrorjade gives follow-up. Tragedy could also get you that, but it's, again, Despia. High Spirit recycles itself. It sends Albion. He can dump Titaniclad. The issue is, dumping Titaniclad is going to be good off of Mirrorjade, but I think that's going to be it. And in that situation, it's probably even better to not dump Titaniclad. It's probably better just to have a second copy of Albion. Realistically. Because as long as we're not dumping both of them in the same turn, it doesn't matter. You would get it back on turn 3. Oh yeah, you can only use 1 effect per turn. It will add itself. During the end phase, fusion monster sent to the graveyard this turn. You can add this card. You can use one branded effect per turn and only once that turn. Yeah, so I guess this... Wait, I'm now confused. I'm getting conflicting reports from chat. So this won't add itself back if we activate it. Right? Because we activate its effect. And then during the end phase, it won't trigger... It will trigger during our opponent's turn. Not during our turn. Okay. So now the question is, how are we getting... Do we have a way to guarantee we're getting one of our guys gone? I don't think we do. You won't get it back the turn you use it, but it will return on any other turn where a fusion is sent. Yeah. That is tricky, though, because we can't guarantee a fusion's going to be sent. I guess it's almost always going to happen, right? Our board's going to get broken, and then we're just going to have it... Because, like, if our board gets broken, fusions have gone to the grave, which means we now have Branded and High Spirits back. If our board doesn't get broken, we have a board, so we don't need Branded and High Spirits. So I think the logic tracks either way. Yeah, Mirror Jade sends a fusion. Oh, I keep forgetting that it sends a fusion. Yeah, because that's why we want to send the other Albion. Which means that we will always send something. Okay. Okay, so now the question becomes... Is this even worth... We can search Branded and Red off of you, right? Yeah, one Branded Spell Trap. Alright, so what is the best case scenario? Our opening hand is a kit is probably the best possible thing we could open. Because then we can use the skill and we can just search everything else we need. We can just search like the Branded in High Spirits, which gets us anything else we need. No, the best case scenario is going to be that we open kit and like a Branded fusion, or we open kit and Branded in Red. The issue is, in my ideal, we also have Branded in Red. But, like, I don't think it's going to work. Have you considered Incredible Ecclesia? We'll take another look at her. Because we did look at her earlier. So if your opponent shows monster new, you can summon this card from your hand. You can use summon Incredible Ecclesia Virtuous once per turn. You can use each effect of Incredible Ecclesia Virtuous once per turn. During the main phase, quick effect, you contribute this card, special summon a Sword Soul monster or a form of Albaz from your hand or deck. During the end phase, if your fusion was sent to the graveyard this turn, add this card from your graveyard to your hand. So this... What does this do for us? This basically, in terms of like how we'll be using it, is just if we want to use a normal summon on it. Because alright, if we're going second, sure, we could just summon it, right? We could special summon it for free. That's great. If we're going first, this card isn't doing a ton. It's getting us access to Albaz, but the skill gives us Albaz access anyway. So I don't know how useful it's going to be. She's strong going second too. During the end phase, she adds herself back. Yeah, I like the fact that she adds herself back. I like the fact that she can special summon herself. I'm just wondering what she does for our turn one. Like our first, if we are turn one player, is she adding anything to the strategy? I think Branded always has non-engine issue. Too many good cards not enough room. Yeah, I mean, that's how it's feeling for sure. Ecclesia could help refill your hand as well. She can kind of break boards, but it's just okay. She's just card advantage, I guess. I mean, how does she break boards? That's what I'm trying to work out. We're not going to make use of the fact that she's a tuner. Like, basically, in terms of our going second plan, she is just get out Albaz, right? Albaz itself can break a board. Like, sometimes. She would just be a skill target, I guess, for your first turn. I mean, that's pretty good. Having him another skill target, I don't hate that. I'm also wondering if we play another Mercuria. Because one, it means that a second Gold Sark would be online. And two, it's another card that mentions Sword of Albaz, so it's just another skill target. Special summons herself, summon Albaz, try to fuse with Albaz. Yeah. I wonder if that matters too much. Because we get an additional normal summon anyway, right? If we're going second, we already get an additional normal. So, like, the special summon doesn't matter as much. This one can be special summon, but it's a bit irrelevant on how we actually use it. We can just normal summon Fall of Albaz if we want to try and break a board that way. But again, I don't know how efficient that is. Because almost always, our normal summon's going to be on Kit, right? Mind you, we don't even have to use our normal on Kit, right? Because we can just activate Branded in High Spirits, send one, then immediately special Kit. So where is our normal right now? Do we just not have a normal summon? Does it matter that she's a light monster, for example? I don't think it matters. The only one that matters about having light is Albion the Branded Dragon, which I don't think we're actually summoning that much. Everything else just needs dark monsters. Or I guess specifically Lubellion needs dark monsters. How do you special Kit? So if we activate... So we use the skill, right? Which lets us search out Branded in High Spirits. Activate Branded in High Spirits, which lets us send a level 8 fusion monster from the extra deck to the graveyard with the same type. So as long as we... I guess if we have Kit, that makes it a bit awkward. We need a dragon in hand. But I suppose we can use... Can this search Kit? Yeah, we can. Alright, so yeah, we add Albaz and we add Branded in High Spirits. Activate Branded in High Spirits. Reveal Albaz. Then we can get Albion in the graveyard. Then we use that to search Kit. Now we have an Albion in the graveyard, so we can special Kit. I'm a bit worried, though, that we've now lost our Albaz. Although we don't need it in our hand. It can just be in the graveyard. That's fine. Special stuff from hand. Kit can send Brigand with High Spirits. Yeah, we don't want to send Branded in High Spirits, though, right? We want to use the skill to get it. Because then we can use Kit specifically to grab Branded Fusion. And if we already have access to Fusion, we instead grab Branded in Red or Branded Lost. This is the other issue. Is Branded in Red just not worth using? Just straight up. Like, what does Branded in Red do for us? Because, like, I think most of the time, if we have the luxury of searching a Branded spell trap, because we've already got access to Fusion, we're going to be grabbing Lost, right? Like, surely there's no way we're grabbing Branded in Red over Lost. Because Branded in Red, all that's doing is giving us a second Mirror Jade activation. No, I mean, you use High Spirits on Kit too. Yeah, that's the logic we were using, right? We were going to use Branded in High Spirits to grab the Kit. And then special summon the Kit effect. The big issue is, again, card advantage. We're losing so many cards to do all of this. And I don't know if we're gaining a ton off of using them all. Let's have a little bit of loose skin. It just won't come off. If we don't have a normal summon, then we could just normal summon Kit. But we don't need to. That's the thing, right? That's the weird thing. Like, if we're always using Branded in High Spirits, because we want to send Albion to the graveyard, because we want to have Branded Retribution on the board. Because also, if we're already playing one Branded Retribution, it kind of messes it up because of Dark Magician, but again, we can use the Intertwining Memories to just send the Branded Retribution back into our deck, so it's always live, to use Albion's effect on it. What other monsters could be good normal summon in this deck? You know, I'd really like to play a little card called Aluba. That would be lovely. You know, that card, that would be such a nice normal summon. I mean, the other one to summon would be, like, Incredible Ecclesia the Virtuous. But again, I don't think we need. Does it? Like, again, going for a turn 1, all this is send it to the graveyard, summon out Albaz. Albaz on the field, turn 1. Does that actually help us? Is that actually doing a lot? Aluba, we switching skill now. I mean, it's always on the table. It's always on the table. I really think the skill just sucks for Branded Fusion. Now, I think you might be right. There are so many downsides and not many upsides. But we're just spitballing right now, right? We're taking a look and seeing how far we can push this. Because again, right now, the biggest choke point here is Kit. If kit just gets interrupted, what do? Where do we go? We just pass on nothing. Which again is why we're playing Final Bringer and Droplet. To try and alleviate that, but there'll be games where we just don't open one of these. And then we just get like Veilored on our kit and we're just like, oh, well. GG, I guess. I don't know if Golden Sword Soul is worth it. So the logic of playing Golden Sword Soul was we can search it with the skill. But I feel like we're almost always going to be searching more important cards. So I don't know if we're ever going to summon Sword Soul. Like, the only time we use the skill to search Golden Sword Soul is if we already have the rest of everything set up. So we already have a kit. We already have a branded fusion. Because, you know, otherwise we'd search kit to search one of our, like, branded and lost, for example. We'd also have to already have a Fallen of Albaz in hand. I think if we had those 3 cards, then we would maybe search Golden Sword Soul. But the other thing is, we use so much of our hand that I also don't think we're going to have enough cards left in our hand to hold on to a Golden Sword Soul. Maybe the deck needs Misk. Real. Golden Sword Soul is just Battle Fader. It would be nice if it had Celestia or Quem. But we don't, so it's meh. Yeah, that's kind of how I'm looking at it. I think this card, again, will be really good in 2% of your games. And outside of that, I'm really not sure it's going to do much. Again, I'm back to thinking Branded and Red isn't worth using as well. The issue is, we're now getting into a lot of... having a lot of Garnets. We don't want to draw out... I guess drawing out any of these is fine. But we want to search all of them is the issue. We definitely don't want to draw out Branded Retribution. But again, even then, it's not the end of the world. We don't want to draw out the Dark Magician. God, this deck has so few monsters in it as well. We haven't even also considered how this is going to play into the other decks in the meta. Like, at all. I really don't think we need Titaniclad. I don't see a world in which we're resolving its effect. Alright. So, ideal world, we're ending on Dragoon, we're ending on Mirror Jade. And that's kind of it. I'm not sure how the second normal summon can help this deck. I mean, with this deck as it is, it probably just doesn't. Like, there's so few cards we can actually play in this deck, which makes it so awkward. Like, there's no Springans card we're going to play in here. There's no Ice J cards we're going to play in here. Like, Sword Soul? I don't think there's any Sword Soul cards we play in here, right? Like, even if we summon out one of, like, the generically good ones, like Moye or Tyre, like, what do we get out of having the bodies on the board? What do we get out of having the tuners? Like, nothing. We can't summon non-fusions. We are coping so hard. This is a Sword Soul skill. Yeah. Well, then the question becomes, if we swap over, right? If we swap the skill to... Was it Theatre and Branded? Theatre of the Branded's opening, right? So you can't summon monsters with a level except Fall of Albaz, Despia monsters, and Dark and Light monsters. So the issue with this is, this skill turns off Kit. Well, we can normal summon Kit. We just can't special summon Kit. Oh, Light and Dark level 8 or higher monsters. But that also still doesn't matter. So this now we'd have to normal summon Kit if we were using this skill. You have a Luba, why bother with Kit? Well, the logic is that you can now use, like, either or, right? Reveal a Despia monster or a branded opening from your hand, then shuffle one card in your hand into the deck, add a Despia monster. We're always going to have a Despia monster. Special Aluba with opening, normal Kit. I mean, that's not awful. So discard a card, take one Despia monster from your deck, and either add it to your hand or summon it in defense position. Also, for the rest of this turn, this card resolves. You cannot special summon monsters in the extra deck except fusion monsters. If a fusion monster you control be destroyed by card effect, banish card from your graveyard instead. How many branded openings do people typically play? Is this like a 1 or a 3? I'm assuming it's a 3. I play this deck, and yet I still don't have the answer to my own question. I'm pretty sure this is a 3. We'd also want to have a Aluba. Probably want 3 Aluba, which means I'd have to get another one. That's not the end of the world, but it is more homework. Now what do we do? Branded and High Spirits is another one. Like, are we playing Branded and High Spirits? Because Branded and High Spirits is still really good. It's just, I don't think we have a good way to, like, search it. I suppose we could search it off of... This is the issue that a lot of these branded cards has, is that they just, their costs, having to discard cards all the time sucks. You just don't want to do it. 2 Alubra is more than enough. Okay, we'll take an Alubra out for now. You can probably just copy a 2022 Master Duel deck list for the most part. I mean, we can get one up in a sec. We do have one. Where's that? This one. Is there a deck list at the bottom of this, is the question. Has like some combos. Here we go. Here's some deck lists. Alright guys, we'll put in Designator. We'll put in Call By. What else are we going to put in? We'll put in Foolish Burial. I have like a real, like, what's the word? I'm really drawn towards this like patchwork list just because I really like the Fright Fur cards. But yeah, it's just not going to be necessary at all. Got these lovely hand traps as well. Alright, let's take some kits out. We might only have... We might be able to get away with just the one. We'll kind of... Because this deck's only playing one. That's basically the long and short of it. As to how I came to that conclusion. What are we using Branded in red for in this? I guess you could just summon any of these. So it's just good in general. Oh no, we're summoning Chimera, aren't we? That's our primary target. High Spirits doesn't have targets most discard. Patchwork is fine for card advantage and can be material for any Despia. What I'm trying to work out, though, is a way to get Albion into the graveyard. That is what I would like to do. Which I don't think we have a good way to do that outside of just summoning it. So that's why I like Branded and High Spirits, but you are right. I don't think it has a place in here. Alright, Tragedy is coming in. I don't know how many Tragedy. We're probably playing Ad Libitum. We might be playing a Comedy. Are we playing 3 Tragedy? We might just be playing 3 Tragedy. This list was on 2. We're also going to need the Field Spell as well. Is this list not playing the Field Spell? I mean, we play the Field Spell anyway because it works with our skill. This one. God, this is getting chunky. Just banish their Aluba with Mirror Jade, just to set the Branded in red. That's wild. 3 Tragedy, 1 Comedy to protect your field spell. Well, we're currently at 33 cards, which is a little bit awkward. How many of the... We're not playing the big dragon in this. I wonder how necessary he is. Well, that's the other thing is... How are we triggering the skill in this one? Reveal a Despia monster or a branded opening. So we have what? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. So we have 10 ways to trigger the skill. That should be plenty. I don't think we need more of that. Take Albion the Shrouded out. Yeah, that's kind of what I'm leaning towards. I still think we keep the rest of this. How many branded in red should we be on? What's like the modern... I say modern. So this is like the current branded deck. They're currently playing 3 branded in red. Only 1 opening in this list as well. This is a 29 card deck. How many targets? 1, 2... Oh, we haven't got Dramaturge in. It's wild that we would have forgotten Dramaturge. Can you even summon Kit with that skill? We can't special summon Kit. We can normal summon it. So the logic is we're going to be using branded opening to special summon Aluba and then use our normal on Kit. But the only question then becomes, like, do we have a way to, like, search Kit? I don't even know if we do. Hand to deck. Add a Despia monster or a branded opening from your deck to your hand. Then add Despia Theory of the branded. I don't think we have a way to search Kit. And without searching Kit, I don't know if it's even worth playing. I mean, we could search it with Courier. The issue there is that means we have to just open a Gold Sock. Maybe remove the trap? Maybe. Because, again, if we don't have a way to summon... Because we can get this into the graveyard during our opponent's turn. That's no big deal. But then we'll set this during our opponent's turn, and then it's kind of useless. Because I really like the idea of using this trap. I just don't think we have a consistent way to set it up. Hello, that one guy, by the way. Tragedy adds Kit, doesn't it? Oh, does Tragedy add Kit? This card is sent to the graveyard or banished by card effect. You can add 1 Despia monster from your deck to your hand. You can banish a card from the graveyard to target a branded spell trap. So no, you can't. I don't think you need Gold Sark. Just play more Despia names. I mean, what more Despia names would we play beyond this? Like, the only thing we could do is play more comedy and, like, another ad-lib, maybe another dramaturge. I don't even think we need all of that. I mean, we can put you back in, though. Welcome back, Tax Dragon. Because the whole point of Gold Sock is it just triggers Merc, right? And then we just get a Fallen of Albaz or any monster that mentions it, which means we can immediately grab a Kit, or we could grab the actual Albaz itself. I guess that's kind of it. So if we just open the one-off Kit, there's no real point. Unless we want to play 3 Kit. And then we're just hoping we draw it for normal. In which case, the opening has to be... We'd be hoping to open up any Despia card, and then either a Gold Sark or a Kit. Because Gold Sark or Kit get us exactly where we need to go. Because that will let us get lost. Any name is full combo. Is any name full combo? Let's go through this quick, right? So reveal a Despia monster or a branded opening from your hand. So a Despia monster is a name. Then shuffle 1 card from your hand into the deck. Add 1 Despia monster or branded opening from your deck to your hand. Then you can add Despia Theatre of the Branded. So that's fine. We'll get the Despia Theatre of the Branded. And we get any guy. So I guess it'll be Aluba. So we then go summon Aluba. Aluba gets us Branded Fusion. Activate Branded Fusion. Make... In this situation, it's probably going to have to be Lubellion. And then Lubellion makes either Mirror Jade or Masquerade or Red Eyes Dark Dragoon, whatever we're feeling spicy about. At this point, just play the Despia skill. What is this? This is the Despia skill. The trap is nice to stop the Shadowbird trap from the grave. I'd keep it. You make Albion first. The issue is, if we make Albion first, where do we go from there? Right, so we make the Albion, then what? So if this card is fusion summoned, you can fusion summon 1 level 8 or lower fusion monster from your X deck, except Albion the Branded Dragon, by banishing fusion materials listed on from your hand, field, or graveyard, okay? So what are we banishing? I guess we'd banish the 2 cards used to make this, which means we'd then go into Lubellion. And then Lubellion now doesn't have any material to do its fusion, right? Aluba and Albaz. Okay, so we get rid of our Aluba. And we've sent an Albaz to the graveyard. So now we've gone into Lubellion. So now we have the other monster that we sent to the graveyard to summon out the Albion. Who is that going to be? Who's our light monster? Do we not have a light monster to summon? Which means we literally can't even summon at the moment. So we need to play Light Hexfield for this to work. Lubellion shuffles from Banished. That is the bit I keep forgetting about. Okay. So then we fuse... But the... So Luba, Albion... Wait, let me just go into Mirror Jade. Okay. Can I link you my potential deck list? You can, but you'd have to DM it to me unless you're in the Discord. You don't need to ever fuse into Albion. It's just send to graveyard. I mean, the logic is, though, that you can get this out on top of everything else, right? Because you summon this, use its effect to banish, and then use Lubellion to get rid of the banish card, so you haven't like lost anything in doing it. Then you can go into Mirror Jade. But, like, even doing all of this... All we've done is ended on Mirror Jade, right? Like, Albion and Lubellion aren't doing anything during our opponent's turn. So, like, this long-winded combo has just made Mirror Jade pass, right? Is that it? Or is there more to this? And then you use the field spell using Albion and the Despot in hand for Mask. Okay, so we'll make... So right now... So the combo is Mask, Mirror Jade, pass. Is that it? Albion sets the spell in the end phase. Okay. Oh, branded in red. Okay, so we go Albion... Not Albion. We go Mirror Jade, Mask, and branded in red. Pass. The issue is then is like, what is branded in red doing? Right, let me check my... There we go. Let's take a look. Let's take a look at what Match has sent us. Would you look at those nibs? We got two, we got the two, we got Effect Veiler, we got just the one. I mean, this is looking pretty similar at the moment. The big difference here is we're not playing any of the non-engine. Good old Ding. How often are we actually going to be able to summon Ding, is the question. Because can we even summon it with this? Oh, we can summon level 8 or higher monsters that are light or dark. What locks us? Branded Fusion locks us. So if we activate Branded Fusion, we can't summon Ding in that same turn. So with the way that Toti is saying it, we have a pop with Mirror Jade, we have Tax Dragon, and then what are we using Branded in red to do? Just make another Mirror Jade and have another pop? So we have 2 banishes and Tax. Is that it? Use Lib plus Mirror Jade to make Predaplant Dragostapelia. Add Lib Mirror Jade to make Predaplant Dragostapelia. Add Lib Revised Mirror Jade. Mirror Jade can then be used again because it's soft once per turn. Okay. Dragostapelia. Let's throw Drago in quick. Right. Let's just make sure we fully understand what this card is doing. So once per turn, quick fetch, you can target one face-up monster your opponent controls, place a Predaplanter out of its level 2 or higher, it becomes level 1, so it's a Predaplanter, and negate the activated effects of your opponent's monsters that have Predator counters. And then Ad-Lib is going to bring back a fusion monster, right? Fusion summon, hand or field, send to the graveyard or banished. You can target one of your Despot monsters or one of your level 8 or higher fusion monsters is banished or in your graveyard and special summon it. Yeah. I mean, that seems pretty good. Right, so the end board is Tax Dragon, a Banish, a Negate, a Monster Negate, specifically, then another Banish, I mean, that seems pretty good. There's nothing beyond that, right? Like, that's kind of it. I mean, that's fine. We don't need any more than that. I'm just curious. I mean, I guess we could also have Dramaturge. This is like an extra guy, but I don't even think that's necessary. Is it worth to keep your Dark Lord Nuke for Mirror Jade? The issue with the Dark Lord stuff is, one, it's more extra deck space. And 2, it means playing 3 copies of Morningstar, which we just don't really have the room for. So you could win on grind game. Now, why would you cook branded? They're our friends. No, we must cook the branded. They like being hot anyway. That's the whole thing. They like being, like, in hell, I think. And, you know, fire dragons. I guess they're... None of these are actually fire dragons, are they? Even Albion, who looks like he's made of fire, is a dark monster. Alright, let's start taking some stuff out. Are we taking out Merc? How are we triggering Merc if not off of Gold Sark is the next question. I think only Springans and a few Sprites of Fire. Oh, yeah, is there any reason? I guess 1 Retribution is probably still fine with this combo line. Because we're still sending Albion to the graveyard. The only issue is it comes down to how many branded and red. If we already have access to one of these, we can just search the other one. Which is pretty good. The other thing is branded lost. Does this card matter? How are we getting to this card if we are going to get it? Take out Merc and the Gold Sarks. Well, that's kind of what I'm leaning towards. Like, it's good, because it's just, like, a search, but, like, do we need that? Because this even gets you to a name, right? The only downside is if you open the Merc, you're now in a really bad spot, because you can't do anything with it. So I think you're right. But, like, the logic is there. It can still be really good, but if you open the one of Merc, you're now in a horrible spot. And then it comes down to, do we even need the Dark Magician in this deck? Like, is Dragoon worth it? Because it's a lost search and a negate in hand. Oh, that is a point. I did forget about its other effect, actually. Right, let's get it up again. Right, first off, it's an ad break, so we'll just let the ads tick. The question is, though, I think we probably don't take... We probably don't use the Gold Sarks, though. Because, again, the Gold Sarks... I mean, you could use the Gold Sark on Tragedy, though, as well. That's not bad. And then that also turns on the skill. I'm going back into the Gold Sarks, you know. I think the... Alright. Hear me out, right? Gold Sark, if we draw out our Merc, can still search out Tragedy. And if we search out Tragedy, that turns on our skill. So using Gold Sark, this is a skill target, right? If you think about it. As long as Gold Sark resolves, we banish one of these 2 cards that can just get us a Luba. Like... Am I crazy, or is that not worth playing Gold Sark? Hello, Divvy. Welcome on in. Shuffle Merc with the skill. I mean, yeah, that is another thing we could do. Well, the other thing then becomes, are we playing Dark Magician? Alright, I need to use the bathroom. I've been holding this in for a while. So I'm going to go use the bathroom. I'll be back in a minute. And we're back. Oh, that feels better. All right. Now, with an empty bladder, we can think straight. Merc makes the cuts. That wouldn't be an issue. Just shuffle Merc back with the skill. Why not just run non-engine over Sark? Do you really need even more consistency with the skill? Well, again, is there a reason to not? Is the question, right? Is the deck going to be any more bricky with Sark or without? Like, surely the only reason Sark is ever dead is if we open 2 of it, right? If we open 2 or 3 copies of Sark, Sark now feels really bad. But other than that, it just seems like a net positive. Like, it depends, I guess, how much non-engine we need to run. Because, I mean, a lot of people are playing 30 card decks in this anyway. Okay, Tomato, how many starters do we have? Let's count them. Right, 1, 2, 3. Do we search? It's just or a branded opening. So 1, 2, 3, 4. Not you. 5, 6, 7, 8. 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14. So only 14 starters, guys. Only 14. That's not... Like, think about that, right? If we've got 14, how often are we not going to open a starter? Like, I think the logic speaks for itself. Nah, but I am starting to see the point. Like, realistically, we shouldn't need that many. Sark gotta go. Because BF is also a starter. You're not wrong. Okay. Even though it's really cool, we'll take it out for now. It might come back. We haven't ruled anything out yet. Alright. Do we need Dark Magician? Are we ever summoning Dark Dragoon? When are we ever summoning this over anything else? In what world do we ever summon Dragoon? Right? I guess going second? Because you want the pop? So you could maybe make this instead of Mirror Jade? Then you get the pop and you have the negate to break their board? BF triggers the trad effect too, which is... Yeah. A Dragoon in Branded is more of a meme. Alright, what is our going second play? Do we just do the exact same thing going second? Like, going second, we try to go into Albion. Albion goes into Mirror Jade. We pop one of their cards. Then... I mean, we won't have access to Branded and Red because we haven't searched it. Instead of going into Tax Dragon, we go into, like... Where's the field spell? Non-fusion favorites, that doesn't matter. During the main phase, you can fusion summon a level 8 or higher fusion monster with extract using cards in your hand or field. So we know that we'll have... What, an No. What will we have at that point? I guess we'll have this lying around. The Albion. And I guess we'll have a Lubellion just kind of sitting on the board. So we could just make Dragostapeli off that. That's not even that bad. So we use Mirror Jade to banish 1. We can turn something else off. Again, assuming we've even made it this far. Then what? What do we do past that? I mean, we could probably get out a Dramaturge. That's another thing we don't have. We haven't, like, fit any of the other stuff in. Yeah, I think we're probably taking these guys out. I feel like the more we make this deck good, the less cool it's becoming. I'm like, oh yeah, we're taking out Dragoon. Oh. Oh, we're taking out Goldsark. Oh. We're even, I mean, is Kit even still making the cut? Like, what is Kit doing? Like, our line to get to Kit was Goldsark. Now that we don't even have Goldsark, I don't even think it's even worth having Kit. Send Dramaturge with Branded Fusion. Kit is just worse Aluba. Yeah. Well, like, in the physical game, you'd play both because you don't have a skill that searches, right? Obviously, we have a skill that searches. Kit can get opening and lost. Kit is an extra search. The only problem with that is Kit can't be special summoned, so our normal summon has to go on it. And we have no way to search it outside of exactly Mercuria. So we just have to, like, hard draw it. You also play 60 or 30 cards, not 50 or 60, not 30 or less. So you want more consistency there. Yeah. Yeah. I mean, we're always using at least one of this. Do we even need this? Is there a reason to? It's not a bad card. There'll be some situations where it might come up. How many extra deck spaces do we have in... We got 9, right? We have 9? I'm pretty sure it's 9. Until I don't play speed that much. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. So at the moment, this is completely rammed. Let's see what Match was playing in his extra deck. So we're only playing 1 Lubellion. The only reason I like having the second Lubellion, like primarily, is so that you can shuffle the first one back in, and then you just always have Lubellion access. But I don't know how much we need a grind game. And Ding is cool. I just don't know how much Ding is going to come up. Ding's going to be, like, pretty specific. I think we're definitely going to want Branded and Red in here. Oh, that's the wrong one. Over here. Probably only need 2 copies of it. The other one is Lost as well. I still don't know what we're doing with Branded Lost. Probably cut the Ding for Dragostapeliot, by the way. I wish we had good fusion to put spell traps. Yeah, we got a lot of, like, you know, we got Xyz that do that now. With good old Tornado Dragon, but... I mean, is there anything else we're doing in this? Is the big question. Is there anything glaringly obvious? Because right now, if Aluba gets hit, do we have any follow-up? No, we have plenty of follow-up if Aluba gets hit. Like, Aluba's really, really good. But if Aluba does get hit, we're not just, like, out of it. But I still think getting Aluba off the board with Final Bringer or Droplet is still really helpful. The issue is it doesn't really help us going first. That's really good going second. Do use your field spell. Yeah. We just lose Branded Fusion. But, like, we still have some sort of follow-up. It's just not going to be, like, super good. So we could go... If we just had the field spell, activate the field spell, assuming we have 2 cards to make a guy, we go into a guy. Because in an ideal, we could go like Albion, but we need a light monster. Then Albion into Lubellion by using the 2 material we used to make Albion. Oh, because it's a dark monster, so that wouldn't even work. We'd need another card somewhere along the line either way. Okay. I really want to test it. That's the thing. I want to, like, jump into a game, play with these cards, and then kind of get a feel for what I want to change. But I just don't have it. Alright, so the line is going to be... Reveal any Despia card. Shuffle 1 card from my hand to the deck, add a Despia monster or a Branded opening. So we're probably always grabbing Aluba. Summon Aluba, Aluba's effect, add a Branded spell trap, so that's going to get us to Branded Fusion. That's going to go through our entire other combo. We also get our field spell. The issue is, again, it feels like it's all in on Aluba, and then we just do the 1 card combo off Aluba, and then that is kind of it. We have no way to search Lost. We can get red because of Albion. And again, if we open a red, we can get Retribution instead. We still have no easy way to get to Lost. Hey, I see. Welcome, welcome. Dueling Book's right there. Yeah, but Dueling Book sucks. That's the issue. Like, Dueling Book is actually, like, the worst. is the worst sim of all time. Like, it's serviceable. It will get the job done. It is not very good. You can grab Tragedy, make Masquerade or something when you then add Aluba from that. Grab Tragedy, make Masquerade. Yeah, you're not wrong, because we get the field spell. Grab the Trage. Make the dragon. Use that, grab Aluba, summon Aluba. Aluba effect gets us to Branded Fusion. Branded Fusion goes into Albion. Albion effect then gets us Lubellion. Lubellion then gets us Mirror Jade. And we could do all that with 4 zones. And then we just have that entire board. The downside is we would then just have these 2 on the board. And would be locked into only having fusion monsters. So it'd be... They'd kind of be stuck. Because in an ideal world, we'd have another activation of a fusion. And then fuse them off into, like... What would we even make? Does it even matter? We go 1, 2. Use that, use those 2. Go into that. I don't think it makes a difference. Because as long as we get the branded in red, which we will have access to, I think it does... Because it means that our turn 2 always gets us to Dragus Depelia, always has access to double Mirror Jade. Yeah, how are you doing, IC? We've been theory crafting this for like the last 2.5 hours, basically. We've been trying to work out, like, what do we think is, like, the best build? We were trying the other skill as well, but we just kept coming back to, like, it's a Sword Soul skill. I think this is just going to be better, no matter how you slice it. We summon that. Send 2 to the grave. What are the 2? So we need a light monster as well. So we need, like, either Veiler or we need... I don't know, probably just Veiler? Like, is there anything else that's going to be better than Veiler? Do we even have Veiler? That's the other issue. I'll just check quick. I don't have Veiler. That causes an issue. Add Tragedy, use Field Spell with it to make Masquerade, add Aluba, normal Aluba, and Branded Fusion can put Adlib into the graveyard. Okay. That's fine. That gets us... I'm trying to think how that helps us. Because by doing it that way, we have a Masquerade, which is great. We have a Branded Fusion, which will get Adlib into the graveyard, again, which is great. Play Nib? That's a good point. How many Nibs do we have? I have 1 Nib currently. I can get another Nib. That's not the end of the world. Just playing 1, though, is a little bit rough. Because, again, it becomes a Garnet, right? Yeah, I've seen Seraphis video and see Branded in Chimera Preda. I think he also has a vid on Branded versus Despia skill. Let's take a look. Who's the person? Seraphis. I don't think it's that Seraphis. Duel Links. Neo Seraphy? This doesn't look like Duel Links. Should you play Branded in Chimera? Is this it? I don't want to just, like, watch his whole video. Because I think that's a little bit rough. I want to see what, like, he ends on. Once again, for whatever reason, in this browser, it really doesn't like playing YouTube videos. The branded or Despia... The branded or Despia, which skill to use, is probably what you want. Hey, there we go. God, Chimera. Branded or Despia, which skill to use? I'll probably watch this in my own time, rather than like watching the whole thing on stream. I'm just curious to see like what he ends on. Like that's what I'm most interested in at the moment. Do you have ad block on? Oh yeah, we're not having ad block on. But usually ad block doesn't cause this sort of issue. Okay, this is pretty bog standard. Nothing crazy. No Dragostapelia. There's also no branded in red here. As in, like, in the end board. Okay, I mean, I'll definitely take a look at this later. That's why it happens. Well, so I have two different browsers. So the browser I'm using for, like, streaming stuff at the moment is on Firefox. And that runs, buttery smooth. And then currently what you're seeing, this is Chrome. And Chrome is what's having the issues. Check the end of the Preda branded vid. It's kind of insane. What was the Preda? Branded Preda plant. Right, we'll check this out. Just let this do its thing real quick. Try it without adblock and check if it still happens, but I don't want to turn off adblock. Okay, so we have the trap. This doesn't look that insane. Like, it's obviously not bad. But, like, I've seen some people with end boards that look a lot crazier than this. So you've got, what, Predator planning, and you end with the branded counter trap. You have the pop, and you have that. Yeah, I mean, this seems fine. Seems pretty good. And I assume, are we summoning this off of branded and red is the question as well. Alright, I think this is gonna do it. But then it comes down to, like, I really don't know if branded lost is worth using. I keep coming back to specific cards, and I'm like, what are you doing? Because this is a good card. But are we ever searching it? Like, if we're doing a search in the end step, it's always going to be branded in red. If we're doing a search in the main phase, it's always going to be branded fusion. If we have a spare search, we're always going to grab branded retribution. So I just don't see a world in which we go for lost. And we're never going to have, like, an extra search, like, outside of the one extra we could have. There's a reason why branded lost is a normal rare. Yeah. Well, when I said people might not play this card, people laughed at me. They were like, no, it's definitely going to see play. And now I'm like, I might just cut this card. The current big issue I see is we have no way to beat a Veiler, right? I guess we don't necessarily need a way to beat a Veiler, we just like one. Because although we do have like things like Droplet, if we don't have a target to Droplet, we can't use it. And the same goes for Bringer, right? I'm grabbing Lost, so my Lubellion doesn't get Veilered. But what happens if they just Veiler your Aluba? Like, then you're now falling back on using the field spell, hoping that your hand has the ability to make a fusion, and then trying to go off from there. You still play Branded Lost because it stops the gates. You just play Suavis then. It's also a light target. I suppose... I guess that's what it... I just feel like if we don't use this search... Because how often are we going to get a spare search? The only time we're ever going to have a spare search is going to be if we already have a branded fusion in hand, right? Because most of the time, what's going to happen is we'll use our skill, get access to Aluba, summon Aluba, search branded fusion, activate branded fusion, do our combo. And we're not going to have access to Lost anyway. The only time Lost is going to be relevant is literally if we open branded fusion already, and then we can use the skill to instead get us to branded Lost, right? Reason you opening summon Aluba in draw phase. Oh, that's why we use branded opening in the draw phase to play around. That can be quite good. Aluba got Veiled, activate Brafu, send Tragedy. Yeah, but if Aluba got Veiled, we don't have a Brafu. That's the issue. That's the fundamental problem, right? Like, if this gets Veiled, the logic is we're using this to get to this, right? So if this gets Veiled, how do we get to Branded Fusion? We just hard open it. Just open Branded Fusion. Just open it, Lamau. Because the other thing we could do is play, like, Book of Moon. And then just, like, book our Aluba down. But again, if we can just summon it in, like, the draw phase or whatever with opening, that's fine as well. How many gems did you say your speed account had? I did a little bit of grinding yesterday. I'm not sure entirely. I think when the box comes out, I'll have between, I want to say, like, 17 and 20,000. Something like that. Actually, 20,000 might be a bit of an overestimate. Maybe between 16 and 18? Somewhere between 16 and 18 is what I should have. But again, that's if I keep up the grinding. That's enough for 2 full runs if you're unlucky. I'm always unlucky. The thing I need to do, though, I need to decide beforehand if I'm going to commit to just playing the one deck. Because that's what I always do. I'll go like, oh, well, you know, if I ever did want to play Trap Tricks in the future, I'm going to need X card. So I'll keep pulling for that. And then you realise you opened 40 packs to get that one card. And then you're like, well, I could have just not. I could have just skipped it. That's how they always get you, though. That's how they always get you. It's like, oh, it's just one card. I'm wondering if Final Bringer... Because Final Bringer is so good going second. Forbidden Droplet is just good anywhen. I mean, Final Bringer is not even bad going first. You could just set it. The issue is what I want is I want it to be a card that lets me get my, like, Aluba effect off. Or let me get my, I don't know, like, Lubellian effect off if I need it. You only need 1 Mimelo, but you need at least 2 Politeo, which sucks. Yeah, that's the thing. I haven't looked into the other decks, like, pretty much at all, to, like, know what I even need. Because, like, in this box, it's like, I'm going to need 3 Branded Fusion, right? I'm going to need 2 Mirror Jade. I don't know if I give a shit about anything else in here. I don't think I care about Zoo. I don't think I care about Dark Magician. I don't think I care about Drytron. I kind of want to get the Spriggan's kit. So, like, for me, it's like these 3. But this one I only need 2 of. I don't think I'm ever going to play 3 Mirror Jade, right? I have a replay for you for Trap Chicks if you want. Yeah, sure, you can ping that to me. Either ping it in the Discord, ping it to me on Discord, or ping it in a DM. Either way, I'll get access to it somehow. Or, wait, if it's an actual replay. I assume it's a not Duel Links. What's the word? Dueling Book. I assume it's a Dueling Book replay. If it's a Duel Links one, that's fine. I can go on your thing. Yeah, kit probs not worth going for if you like branded. I mean, I'm not, like, diametrically opposed to playing, like, the Sword Soul stuff. It's just the branded stuff is what I'm more interested in, right? Hey, perfect. Alright. Dueling book. Oh look, it's Shui from the YouTubes. Alright, is this going to be a fix the hand? Sacred Tree. How do you... Holuti? Holuti? Is that how we're pronouncing this? Holuti? I assume it's hole as in trap hole. And then UT as in... I don't know. Holutea? Alright. So we're getting Pudica. Mimelo. We summon, grab Garden. Going into Serra. Garden activated. We get out Mimelo. Activate the effect. Grab Floodgate. Use the effect of Serra. Grab a trap. We're grabbing Holty. Card set by discarding one normal trap, which we've just done. Special summon this card in defense position as a normal monster. This card is not treated as a trap. You can banish this card from your graveyard. The target one trap just puts in your graveyard to special summon it. So we're going to use it as... This is just an extender, right? We're going to use this to link, and then we're going to use it from the graveyard to get another body. Sarah is going to go ahead and give us Dynamea because of her effect. Dynamea's effect is going to go off. Or Dionea. Grab our normal trap back. Okay, how have we... There we go. We use this effect to detach. Grab out Arachnocamper. Summon out the Arachnocamper. Overlay those two into Rafflesia. And you can end on Kularia if you want linking away Serra and Ping, but it's only needed if you're wanting to reset your trap holes and recycling Ping. So this is the end board. We have Serra, we have Rafflesia. Quick effect, attach one card from this card to send one whole normal trap card that meets its activation just resets to the graveyard. The effect becomes that trap hole. So we have just that really good effect. We have Ping, which is detach raw material from this card. Add a trap to your hand. None of this matters, right? Yeah, he's just a body. Okay, so these two effects are also really good, and they're both live. And we have Sacred Tree. If this card is sent to the graveyard, add an Etruria card from your deck to the hand, except the Sacred Tree. And use one of the following effects per turn. You contribute one Earth Insect monster, contribute one Earth Plant monster, special summon a level 4 or lower Earth Insect monster from your deck. Who are we summoning from the deck with this? Holdity! Exactly. Draw phase, banish, hold. Target one trap special in your graveyard, special summon it. So who are we bringing back? Doesn't this also create an awkward situation though? Because if we use Holity effect, we block this zone, which means that we can't use Serra's effect, right? So we're just not making use of that. Alright. Standby phase. Banish. Summon that, which can't go there. It has to go in the zone over. Come on, Shui. We don't have this many zones. We're going to Floodgate Trap Hole our own card to trigger our effects. Let me summon out this. Wait, how are we summoning this? Oh, Mimilo's an insect. Why is Mimilo an insect? I never knew that was an insect. Okay, so we summon out Rose Whip. Your opponent can only activate one spell or trap each turn. So we're now floodgating. Excellent. And then that's the end. Okay. This is no Duel Links. I know, he even put a card in the wrong zone. We don't have these extra zones. Can you believe it? But hello, Ninjago. This is Duel Off. I mean, this is a Duel Links deck doing a Duel Links combo. In my opinion, every Traptrix card should get limited one. I think shit like this, Rose Whip is disgusting. The issue is, I guess Rose Whip is really bad in most decks, because you're just never going to summon it. It's just not feasible most of the time. Like, you don't have a way to, like, cheat it out. Yeah, so we're looking at, this is a Traptrix combo. This is a Traptrix end board that you can end on feasibly with 2 cards. When the new Traptrix stuff comes out in a couple of days. Are you a test your branded deck? So we've come up with this as our branded deck at the moment. We've just kind of been building it. We've kind of reached a bit of an impasse where we're not really sure what to do with it. The issue is, like, the amount of non-engine is also a bit weird. We can take out all the non-engine. That makes life a little bit easier to, like, see what's going on. That's probably, that is gonna, we probably want another light monster as well. Like, just having, because this skill doesn't let us put a card back, which is the issue. So if we do just open our nib, it puts us in a really weird spot, so we might have to just put another light in. Then the question becomes, like, do we pull for another nib? Do we go for Veiler? Does it matter? It's tricky. But even so, I think some of the new cards are looking real tasty. I'm really looking forward to playing with this new stuff. I just don't know if I'm going to go all in on the Traptrix stuff. Probably not. I don't think I'm going to go all in on the Zoo stuff, but it's all SRs anyway, so I should just get all the Zoo stuff. That shouldn't really be much of an issue. Like, none of those Zoo stuffs up here. You could try White Princess if you need more light hand traps. They don't necessarily need to be hand traps. They just need to be light cards that has a point, right? There just needs a reason to have the light card in, right? Can you make a Yugo deck for me? I would love to. Unfortunately, I am really not the person to ask. I am not a... Well, Yugo is... Is Yugo... I'm trying to think now. Yugo's the Speedroid guy, right? Or is Yugo... I'm trying to remember all the U's now. There's the Speedroid guy, and the other one I'm thinking of is the... Phantom Knight guy. I forget what his name is as well. It's you something. Yeah, unfortunately, I am unfortunately just not the person to ask about building speedroids. I can tell you that right now. I even had a lot of help putting this together. But I think this deck has potential. This deck definitely has potential. But what we should do is see if anyone else is around, because we are going to be wrapping up. I'm not seeing any of the usual suspects online. Which is a bit of a shame, because I want to raid into someone. But if there's no one to raid, there's no one to raid, fundamentally. Have a quick once more. Oh, actually, How's playing Master Duel. We could raid into How. We haven't raided into How in a while. So, thank you guys for hanging out. We will be back again on Thursday, where we'll actually be building this deck and actually testing it and seeing how it works. And maybe we'll try and push all the way and get to Cole. We haven't done that in a while. But thank you guys so much for watching. And I'll see you next time. Goodbye!
And more outlandish, and that has been proven